What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to yet another edition of the Hard Count, breaking down everything in the football world on this wonderful November 22nd, just a couple of days for the most underrated holiday of the year. I say every year, Thanksgiving. CJ, how you doing there, brother?
Feeling good, all is well. Yes, Thanksgiving is in a couple of days. Excited. Just thinking about the parade. I used to watch the parade growing up, see all the balloons
You ever go to the
downtown.
parade?
Nah, it's
Uh,
too packed, bro. Too
I've
packed
never
to be
been to the
out there.
parade either. I didn't know because you down in the city. I didn't know if you ever went, but I feel you.
And
That's
that's
an
a journey.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a journey. You don't want to be out there all day like that. Uh,
Front of the line, can't even get to the back to go to the porta potty.
yeah, no, it's crazy. But it was great watching it on TV, for sure. And then, of course, tradition watching football on Thanksgiving. Lions, Cowboys usually always get a game. It seems to be tradition, and looks like we've got some good games finally. Last couple of years, kind of mid, but I think with some good games with a lot of implications as well, depending on what happens in each of those games. So I'm excited, man.
Yes, sir. Very, very excited to see what's going to happen on this Thanksgiving. CJ, just real quick. What are we ranking the foods on Thanksgiving? Huh? I always go. My number one is the stuffing. I go any form of potato. Two, three. Turkey's not even on the top five. If I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
Turkey.
overrated,
It's
overrated.
just there because it's tradition. Like the Pilgrims couldn't have had a roast beef or something. A little prime rib would have been a lot better. Uh, I mean, if you want to consider a pie, a little mac and cheese.
Definitely mac and cheese for me.
See, and I know other people don't do it. I'm Italian. We have some chicken cutlet too, so the chicken cutlet's there.
And got everything, man. Chicken cutlets, lasagna, rice and
Yes, sir.
beans. Uh,
We have got a little penny alla vodka out there. Oh, the bread, stop it.
I mean, honestly, the fam. I used to go to, used to go to Jersey. My grandma used to go down. Everybody used to pull up, and just abundance of food, man. Just blessings. So, uh,
No tight pants on a day like Thanksgiving.
nah,
No, nothing with buttons.
nothing with buns, man. Gotta have the big sweats,
What's the
nice
plans
calm
looking like for you this
joggers.
year? The
What
plans
happened?
looking like for you this year?
I might go to my boy's crib, but it's like he's my boy, but it's like his family. Like
Yeah,
we grew up
yeah,
together.
okay.
We know each other since like seven, so it's like go there, eat, chill, watch the games, probably make it back before the Patriot game. Want to be my
Got to
own
be in the
space.
dojo for that.
Yeah. I got to be in my own space. To
Yeah,
watch the geysers. So,
I feel
uh,
that spirit. So everybody used to talk about, yo, you want to go out watch the Super Bowl? Pats are in it. I said, absolutely not.
unless I was like actually going there, like
Oh yeah,
going to see them play live. Nah, I'm good.
I don't think
It's
people
my
want to see
team
me out in public when the Patriots are playing anyway.
though.
I don't think it's healthy for the people around. It's just not a good time sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely it's different. It's different. So yeah, that's the plans for me, man. Just chill with the fam here, and then chill at my boy's crib, which is also fam, and then come back, watch the guys, get
Say
that dub, hopefully.
say no more. Say no more. Well, listen. All right. Hey, real quick. I got to do this. I got to do.
So
I'm a Mr. Dan Orlovsky.
oh yeah,
I hit him up on Twitter. I said, "Listen, big fan of the work. I want you to come on the pod, talk a little football. Because I love what CJ. I mean, we talked about his clips on Twitter. Love what the man does. He gave me a little, prayer emoji hand back. I'm not taking that as a no, but it certainly hasn't been a yes. So, Dan, just gonna throw this out there. Always welcome on the show. We'll make time for it. Day, night, weekday, weekend. I'm there. So, ever got a little free time? Just say, always available. Always
yeah.
available.
Yeah, if you got some free time, I'm gonna chop it up, talk some football. Let's do it, man. Be great to have you on here. Glad to hear your insight, how you see certain things, obviously from the quarterback position. So it'd definitely be a great guest ever to have you on sometime in the future, man.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, shameless plug out of the way, we get into the football
Let's
aspect
do
of
it.
everything, which is obviously what this show is all about. We kick it off Thursday night football. Wrong about this one as well. Titans were taking on the Packers, kickoff week 11. And they go into Lambeau Field, get a 27-17 victory, and it was much of the same. It really was a lot of the same. Packers offense just did not look good. I thought that, that big win over the Cowboys, kind of propels them. Maybe everybody gets a little bit more confidence. Randall Cobb was back and everything. Christian Watson did score a touchdown in this game. I believe he has 6 catches in his last 2 games, and 5 of them are touchdowns. I want to say something of that nature. So he has been on an absolute tear, clearly. But yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of the Packers not being able to truly move the ball downfield. And then, their run defense does struggle. And obviously, that is a very, very bad recipe when you're going up against, one of, if not the best running backs in all of football, Derrick Henry. So Packers get another L. To me, that's the end of their season. And I don't, and I'm going to throw this out there too, CJ, and it won't happen. It won't happen. I'll tell you that right now. They lose like 2 more games in a row, right? They're 4-9. Rodgers been dealing with his hand thing all year. Do you all of a sudden go, damn, Aaron, IR, sorry, buddy. Gonna have to put you on there. We'll see what Jordan Love has.
Oh, you asking me? It was
Oh yeah.
rhetorical.
I don't think it
Yeah.
happens, but I'm just throwing it out there as well. Obviously, I want to hear your insight on the game, but just a little something that Sorry, buddy. The hand just doesn't look right.
Yeah, to your last point about Rodgers shutting it down. Yeah, I think they lose like the next 2 or something like that because what they're 3-7 right now, and there's some
Four,
teams in that
4-9. Yeah.
they're 4-7 right now, right?
Yep.
Four and
Yes,
seven
sir.
right now. So I mean, there's some teams in that 5, 6, 7 seed that have similar records, either a game or 2 behind. So I wouldn't necessarily just mail it in completely all the way. It doesn't look great, but you see the Falcons right there at 5-6.
Wow.
The Saints, the Commanders at 6-5. So there's teams like right there in that mix where they're at. If they could get a game or 2, they're right there with some of those teams that's trying to maybe get into that wild card spot. So tough loss on the Thursday night going up against a team like the Titans. They travel well. They have the identity to travel. We've said this plenty of times throughout all our shows here on the Hard Count about how the Tennessee Titans play. We know what they do. We know what they bring to the table, and we just know there's a cap on that style of play, which we've seen in the playoffs over the last few years with Tennessee. But when it's the regular season, it's going to be tough to stop them because one, for Green Bay's situation, the defense is shot. Sean Gary out for the year. Jerry Alexander's been out of the lineup. Zarius Smith is as a Viking now. Kenny Clark's been in and out of the lineup. So they've lost a lot of their guys through their injuries throughout the year. And offensively, they're just going to struggle because we know all they can really do is stop the run because they don't have an elite guy on the outside. Plain and simple. Watson, he's young. He's going to grow. Can he become a guy in the next couple of years or so? Very possible. Remember, it took Devontae Adams a couple of years for him to become Devontae Adams. People forget he wasn't just this.
I was wrong too. Watson had 2 touchdowns in this game. My bad.
Okay, yeah. It took Adams. Remember, Adams. People remember Adams had some drop problems early in his career. He was struggling with that, and then now we see him, being the best wide receiver in the league. So I just think it's going to take time. He's been hurt, but from what we have seen when he's on the field, when he has it going, he's a very special player. So next year, throughout the rest of this season, if he can stay healthy, his play will definitely be a big indicator whether he'll be a featured guy for this offense going forward for Watson. Jones and Dillon, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football, but the offensive line hasn't been particularly great either in run blocking and pass blocking. So it's just one of those years. It's just one of those years, man. You go 13-3, 2 years, and then you go 13-4. You win all these games, and then you have underwhelming playoff performances in those great seasons, in those great years when you have number one seeds, when teams have to go through you in order for them to become champions, and you miss out on those opportunities when they're there for you. And now now you have to play catch up, and now you need things to go right, not just for you but for other go. Now you have to see things go wrong for other teams now too, when you don't put yourself in that predicament, like we've seen them do in the last couple of years. So tough sledding. We're going to see what they're made of. They're not completely out of it. If that's their mindset, then it's clipped. But if they're like, if we could just get string a win or two together, you're 6-7. If one of these teams lose a game here and there, injuries happen, it could derail a season for the rest of these 8, 9, 7, 8 games. Anything's possible. So I'm interested to see what the character of this Green Bay Packer team is going forward, and it's obviously going to come down to their leader. Well, he may not even be their leader, but their quarterback and Aaron Rodgers.
See, and here's the thing too. Like, obviously, everybody knows what the Titans are going to do, and we've talked about that before. But Ryan Tannehill is. We know that there's a limit, but he's capable, and when you are a capable quarterback, you can still have great games, right? And that's kind of the problem with Tannehill, and maybe other people like Jimmy G, and you look at Kirk Cousins. Obviously, we'll get to that game, but Tannehill was 22 or 27 in this game for 333 and 2 touchdowns. Did throw an interception as well. But when you have the threat of Derrick Henry, and then Tannehill can have a game like that too, you're not going to win. Like, there is a very, very good chance you're not going to win, because when you're playing, exactly like what I said, when you're playing a team like the Titans or maybe the 49ers with Jimmy, maybe less with Jimmy because I feel like he's less mistake prone and more doesn't take advantage prone, if you know what I mean. You kind of have to hope that Ryan Tannehill kind of gives you the game like he did in the playoffs against the Bengals, where he threw what was it, 3 interceptions, something like that, even though the Titans had sacked Joe Burrow 9 times in that game and they still ended up losing. I mean, he gave you one, but he also 22 or 27. I mean, you're not really putting up much of a defense against him when the completion percentage is that high. 2 touchdowns. Also, forget they pulled that little playoff. Derrick Henry at the goal line, touchdown. He threw a touchdown pass in this game as well. So, I mean,
they always use that play at the right time too. You never expect it. You never expect it because sometimes they'll have him in the backfield on the center or in the shotgun, and he'll just do an RB power and just run it up. So then when he comes in and sneaks right there in front of the center and just does a jump, it's so perfect, man. It's so perfect. Just Raybro, bro. Mike Raybro is just.
It's elite. Exactly why they're 7-3, and every year for the past few at least, you go into the season like, the Titans aren't really that good. Maybe they'll be there at the end because the division's so bad. And look, they're 7-3. They're the number 2 seed.
7-3. They're one game out of the first seed, and the game they had against Kansas City. Maybe if Tannehill plays that game,
I think they win that game. They win.
It's very possible. Very possible. Tannehill has a clean game like how he had against the Packers on Thursday. Well, very, very possible. But again, that's different when going up against Mahomes. It's just different. You have to go out there and get 7 threes, and it's not enough. It's not enough. So it's different to say. It's like when we play that if that scenario. Sometimes like I do it too a lot, and I think sometimes it does. You can definitely see how it plays out, but when you're going up against certain teams, you also got to factor that in as well. So, but yeah, I agree. You make good points. Tannehill, yeah, when he's clean, he has a clean game. But yeah, they're good. But
just how many times he has those clean games?
It's just right. It's just the clean games don't happen when it matters, which is the postseason.
And then I just looked up the playoff picture as it stands right now too. NFL Network has a nice little ranking for how it goes. Packers are the 11th seed. Like they're not even just like right on the outside looking in. Like they have to jump the Lions, the Falcons, and Washington just to get to the 8th seed. And then you would have to obviously jump either the Seahawks, Giants, Cowboys to somehow get into the actual playoffs. So
right.
It's not exactly pretty for them right now. Especially because I think the upcoming schedule for them isn't very easy as well. I'm not completely sure who they play. I can look it up real quick. Maybe if
All right.
let's see, is it going to cooperate with me? Looks like it is. All right. So let's see here. They play, and you got to remember they lost to the Lions already, so you can't tie with them unless they beat them later on in the season. You got to win out. But from here on out, they play the Eagles. I mean, listen, the Eagle, and we'll get to the Eagle game as well. Eagles haven't looked great the last 2 weeks. I'll say that, but it's still the Eagles. They're 9-1 for a reason. Then you got to go play the Bears, who this is not the Bears team from the beginning of the year. The team you beat in the beginning of the year, not very good. This team now with Justin Fields running the ball, and obviously that is our next game we're going to go into. So we'll talk a little bit about Fields, obviously, his injury as well. But this is a better Bears team. Then they have the bye week in week 14. You go out and you play the Rams. That is a home game, actually. So the Rams just haven't been very good this year either. So that's kind of a toss-up. You play the Dolphins. I don't have faith in them beating the Dolphins. And then they play the Vikings, who
Wait. Where is that game though? Against Miami.
it's in Miami.
Oh no, it's clip.
And then they play the Vikings in Lambeau, week 17. They already beat them once. It was the first week of the season, but I don't have faith in that. And it's a 425 game, so maybe Kirk will be decent because maybe the lights won't be as bright. And then the last week of the season, they play the Lions, who we obviously know aren't just the automatic rollover victory. So, I mean, are there any guaranteed victories there? Because I don't think there are. Guarantees? No.
No. Not one. I didn't hear one.
I mean,
I think they're not good enough to have any guaranteed victories.
The best chance you have, and the only guarantee I could say, and I'll transition into this next game, would be the Bears. Because obviously the news coming out of the Bears game, they do take an L 27-24. Obviously, a very close game came down right to the end. Fields got the ball back, ended up throwing an interception. But the news coming out of this game is that Fields suffered a dislocation to his left shoulder, which is obviously his non-throwing shoulder. And this is where you get into the injuries are weird thing. Because Justin Fields, and I don't know if you heard this, CJ, his injury designation at the moment is day-to-day that could be season-ending. That is basically his injury designation right now on his left shoulder, because apparently it's sort of a pain management thing, and he can't get hurt further. But if he can't deal with the pain, then you have to have surgery. You have the surgery, you're out for the year. Right. So depending on what happens with him, obviously all those Bears games get a lot easier, because we've seen what kind of a tear he's been on recently. Just looking at his stats in this one, 14-21 through the air, 153, a touchdown, an interception, 18 carries, 85 yards, a touchdown. So he really is that dual threat. I mean, that is
carrying that franchise.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely backpacking them at the moment. And, obviously they have $100 million in cap space this offseason. They'll have a very high draft pick this coming season. And, I've seen a couple of these as well, CJ. I mean, I don't know if, all right, let's live in this world, right? Do the Giants, and I don't know. Are the Giants really in love with Daniel Jones, or do they look at a quarterback coming out this year and say, damn, I really want one of those quarterbacks? I think the Bears have about the third or fourth pick right now, so a quarterback will be there. Obviously, you don't have your first choice. If you're the Bears, yeah, you want a high draft pick because you want to get an impact player, or you trade back in the draft, you get multiple first-round picks for, the upcoming years, plus the $100 million in cap space this offseason. You want to talk about kicking off a rebuild, especially when you have your quarterback. Because, listen, you can talk about rebuilding all you want and this and that. You don't have a rebuild unless you have a quarterback. I'm sorry. You can have a very good team around you. Hey, Jets, how you doing? Because I think the Jets have a very solid team around them. I think if you gave the Jets the exact mid quarterbacks, like the 16th best quarterback in the league, they could legitimately go on a Super Bowl run. That's how good I think that defense is, and I think that their offense has some weapons with Garrett Wilson, and especially if Breece Hall was healthy. But if you're the Bears, You got that $100 million. You trade back, get those extra draft picks. You wait for Marvin Harrison Jr. next season, maybe come out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you pair that with Justin Fields and hopefully the players you get back in free agency, and you hopefully hit on some other draft picks maybe on the O-line, because the defense is, it's not the worst thing you've ever seen. That's how you restart a rebuild. So I'm very intrigued with this Bears team, and obviously, the big news, like I said, coming out of this game is Fields is day-to-day, which could be season ending. So for my sake, and I think the sake of the NFL, you hope that he comes back. I'm really curious too, though, if Bears fans want him to come back, or if it's, hey, we see that you improved this year, loved having you, making our games exciting. Take your ass to the bench. I need a higher draft pick, and rest up for next year, brethren. Like, I wonder what the thought process is going on through there as well.
It's big. A lot of questions that need to be answered rather quickly. For the Chicago Bears, you made some good points. In regards to them having a draft pick and using that draft pick to accumulate more picks because they don't need a quarterback like some of these other teams. So yeah, I could definitely see that happen. I could see the Jets being one of those teams making a call. The Giants, both New York teams, making that call to the Bears, try to move up. Maybe the Lions too. Depending on where their record stands, if it's not as high as maybe they think it should be.
Right now, I'm looking at the Tankathon draft order. The Rams have the sixth, not the Rams. The Lions have the sixth pick in the draft right now because of the Rams. So
okay, all right, that's right. After them picks,
they have a high draft right now. You want me to tell you the top 10, maybe? You want to?
Yeah. The top five. Top five.
All right. So Houston's number 1. Then it's Carolina, Chicago, Vegas, Seattle because of the Denver trade. And then Detroit, Houston.
Then Detroit. Okay, Detroit, Houston again.
And also,
so Chicago's not even top 7.
Just real quick too, Houston has that tie. They're 1-8-1. So technically, those teams are only 1 game back of the first pick because it doesn't count as a loss or a win. So it's not 2 games back because they have 3 wins. It's only the 1 game back. So you really could lose a game. Maybe Houston screws around, wins a game.
They don't need to win. They don't need to win any games.
Oh, absolutely not. No, they don't.
They need to get CJ Stroud, call it a day, man. So the Bears, if it's like that, the way you just explained it day to day, but could be pretty much like he could play on it because he could. It's not going to get injured anymore. I would play him. I'd play him if they're trying to make the playoffs, but they're not trying to make the playoffs. So if they were trying to make a push and he needed, it's like, all right, come on, bro, just suck it up. But now it's in this scenario, you got the main question answered, which is, do we have a quarterback? Yes. So now it just becomes what else? What the rest of the team is going to look like, and this team is going to look completely different next year than what it looks like this year because of all the things you just talked about in regards to their offseason and what could possibly transpire. So I'll shut it down. In this game, he's running for his life. A lot of those runs aren't even designed. A lot of those are just trying to stay alive, literally. Because just looking back at the game, Falcons, they was getting to him, man. Falcons, they're underrated. They don't have that guy at quarterback. I know this. That's another team that could potentially be in that mix and trying to trade up, talking to Houston, talking to Detroit, trying to move up and get one of these guys at the top of the draft. So it's going to be that offensive line. They have to figure that out. They have to figure that out for Fields. He can't be running for his life. The design runs, I'm cool with, but to run and to stay healthy and not get blasted by some linebackers. And
Mahomes in the Super Bowl where he ran a mile or something.
Right? Yeah, that's not what you want to see from your quarterback, especially this early in his career. But he's talented and he's done so much in this last month to where you're like, okay, we just get a couple guys on the outside and 5 guys up front. That's lock in key step, and then just run blocking. What's up, man? He's out of here. He's out of here. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully prayers up, prayers up. Either way it goes, I think they're in good hands. And then for the Falcons, talented squad. Prayers up to Kyle Pitts. Got hurt
Crazy.
with the knee. That's tough. Uh, get healthy. Get healthy. The season was lost. Season I don't want to say it's lost because they are 5-6, but it's just so tough to judge them because we don't know what we're going to get from Mariota every Sunday. So, but one thing's for sure: what you're going to get every Sunday is elite production from Cordell Patterson. I mean, this guy is. I don't know what happened with the situation with New England and how we weren't able to keep him. But he just, I think what it was is he just decided, I'm gonna be a running back because there was always a question. He's a receiver, he got drafted as a receiver, a kick returner. He's been on so many teams and made an impact everywhere he's been.
Most in NFL history now. Most kickoff returns for a touchdown.
Yes.
I could not believe that it was Joshua Cribbs whose record he broke. Because you think of special teams, you always think of Hester. You're like, oh yeah, it's got to be Hester. And it was
Hester and Cribbs. Yeah, Hester and Cribbs and Dion.
I said, really?
Yeah, Cribbs. Yeah, Joshua Cribbs was he was really only the bright spot that the Browns had. Oh,
him and Gordon.
Right for that quick second, exactly. Flash Gordon. Yeah. So it's the Falcons. Cordell, he got the money, he got his bread, and this is where he wants to be. And he's flourishing, man. He's flourishing. I'm excited for him. He's 30 years old. It's like he has a brand new career these last couple seasons. And
no, he was only 30.
Yeah, he got some time. He got some time left, and it's different too. Where we see these running backs if they hit 30,
it's over.
They're shot. Right, their legs are done. But he got receiver 30 legs, not running back 30 legs. So he's much fresh running between those tackles, man. So London is a guy. He makes some plays. I see a little bit of Mike Evans in his game. They got similar measurables. He can make some nice plays, tough catches. I'm a fan. Their defense is pretty good too. They make plays when they need to. Grady Jarrett is one of the most underrated defensive linemen, underrated defensive players in the NFL. Doesn't get talked about. Man could have easily he would have won Super Bowl MVP.
Absolutely.
In this game right here. So
3 sacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a hat trick. Right. So he's just there, and he's always productive, and nobody talks about him enough. So it's Falcon team. But I look at both of these teams, man. They just need a couple more. They just need a couple things and some more structure. They're going to be all right. But this is a close game. This is a good game. It's a good game to watch. And the Falcons end up getting it done, and they're second in the NFC South. In a division where we thought it was just going to be a cakewalk for Tampa Bay, not so much.
Yeah, I like the coaching staff on both teams as well. I think both teams found their coaching as well. Christian, what's going on there, brother?
Good, brother.
So yeah, good game, definitely for sure. Then we go, CJ, to a game that just slogfest. I mean, this is one of those games you watch if you're a fan of the team. If you weren't and you watch the game, get some help. Listen, I'm sorry things in life aren't going so well and you put yourself through this. But Ravens squeak out. And honestly, 13, which obviously is not a lot of points scored in the NFL, this final score makes it seem like they played them pretty well. It was like 3-3 up until, 8 minutes left in the game maybe?
Pretty much yeah.
And I think, Baker threw an interception, I want to say, and or somebody fumbled, and the Ravens went down and actually scored a touchdown finally to make it 13-3. So
fumble.
So I mean, this was just an absolute slog fest. But the Ravens did what they had to do. I saw something that I believe weeks 1 through 4 or something of that nature, Lamar had 12 total touchdowns. And then the weeks since that until now, he has 7 total. So it's the Ravens offense as a whole has slowed down because obviously if his touchdown performance is slowing down, that means the offensive production is slowing down because, I mean, we talked about a couple weeks ago when we thought Josh Allen was going to be out that he had accounted for 23 of the 25 touchdowns they scored. Listen, Lamar's probably right there in the same boat. If they've scored 20 touchdowns, he's probably scored 18 of them, 17 of them, 19 of them. So if his production's slowing down, that means the offense is. And listen, CJ's talked about it ad nauseum. They just have nobody. Bateman's out. They traded away Hollywood. Mark Andrews was out a couple times. I mean, they're throwing to Duvernay and other. I legitimately don't know other people on the team.
Marcus Robinson.
Yeah, like they tried to get Deshaun Jackson off the scrap heap. So it's just
MVP.
It's ugly.
This is what he throws. MVP, former MVP.
Yeah,
And it just says nobody said anything. It just doesn't get talked about enough. Nobody criticizes the Ravens front office because it's the Ravens. Okay. Last time they won Super Bowl was 10 years ago. Before that, it was 22. So, I mean, it's not, and in 2000, I was watching First Take earlier today, and Keyshawn Johnson, he was saying that this is the Ravens' way. This is their way. It doesn't matter if they have a top wide receiver. I'm just looking at him like, brother, huh? You're a wide receiver. saying this is what they need to get over the hump. This is what they need. They have the defense. They have a special quarterback that can run and pass. He's getting better as a passer. Just don't have nobody to throw the ball to, so we can't even really see it like we're supposed to. I really don't like coming on here saying the same thing every week, but watching this game, it was so clear, it was so evident, and it just sucks. It just sucks. DaCosta, I believe that's his name. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You had this guy for 4 years before this contract deal. Couldn't get one Pro Bowl wide receiver. Couldn't get one. Mark Andrews just came back last week, so that obviously played a factor in some of the passing touchdowns in the offense throughout those weeks when you talked about the stats from Lamar. So because that's the only constant that he's the only guy he trusts really. And Bateman being out, now they got Deshaun. Deshaun is past his prime. Deshaun should be coming in a situation where they already got guys, and he'll come in every once in a while and be that deep threat and kind of catch you by surprise. That's Deshaun at this point in his career. Not, we need you to get 3 tuds. That's not what he is right now.
8 for 120 and a touchdown.
It's not fair to him to ask him to come into this situation and be a productive wide receiver at this stage in his career. No, it's not fair to him. So the Ravens, they're going to win, and they're 7-3. And look at those 3 losses. They had double-digit leads in all of those losses. So we're looking at and this is without the weapons that we've been screaming that Lamar should have. And it just speaks to how valuable MVP, right? That's what that means. How valuable this guy is. So pay the man and get whatever he needs to make it work and keep it going, bro. For the Panthers, I mean, they're gonna be looking for a quarterback, which is good. They need to figure that out.
Sam Darnold this week.
So we've seen 3 quarterbacks already for throughout the season. 2 head coaches.
No CMC.
Yeah.
Robbie Anderson gone as well. I mean, you talk about just an absolute mess. It's
good. It's good though. It's good. This needed to happen. This needed to happen. This is the only way it could get better. There's only 1 or 2 things going to happen for the Panthers at this point. It's either going to continue to be worse, or because of this season they find a guy and it could change the complexity of a franchise. We've seen it countless times. So this has to happen at some point. This was really this team. You had the Cam Newton team, then the Matt Rule team, kinda. Then this looks like McCaffrey's team, but then it wasn't really McCaffrey's team because he couldn't stay on the field. So this is what needed to happen for the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see what the future holds for that franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like it was always the Browns you could kind of brag on. Then it went to the Giants for a little bit and the Jets and everything like that. Like there might not be a worse situation in the NFL than the Panthers right now. And I mean, listen, you can look at the Browns because I just said the Texans. I meant to say because they have the worst record in the league technically. But like you know that they're going for a quarterback, and like they had the coach that, and you kind of know Levy Smith is kind of an in between coach. Unfortunately, I think he should get a real chance. I mean, unfair to him, but like the Panthers, like you said, two coaches. You trade your star running back. It's three quarterbacks in a season. Like it does not get much uglier than that. In fact, I mean the fact that they even have 3 wins, incredible. If you really look at it, but we move
It's
on.
insane.
We
Insane.
move
Yeah,
on to the Bills.
move on to the Browns and the Bills. It's really, I mean, look at the score. It really wasn't that
Couldn't tell the story.
close. It wasn't that close. Bills came along, but I mean, it could have got close because they had the onside kick, and they almost got that onside kick, but they just unfortunately wasn't able to get it. I look at the Cleveland Browns, and I'm just like, they're when they do get Deshaun, man, they're going to be really good. They're going to be really good. Amari Cooper is playing great this year. I believe he has 8 touchdowns. In this game, I think we had 6 catches in the first half. Finished the game with 9 catches. So Stefanski again. We saw this with Odell. We saw this with Landry at times. Just not always able to get the receiver the football in key moments, especially in the second half. First half, he was looking like he was on pace to break some records. Him and Brissett was throwing him dots. And then that second half, he just went cold up until when he started to make that little push, which led to the score right here. So Chubb had got hurt. Kareem Hunt came in. It's obviously it's just not that big of a fall off when Hunt comes in there, and Njoku made some plays. But this was really about Buffalo getting this dub back after the loss to Minnesota. It took Stephon Diggs a little while, but he was ended up getting into the end zone. And the key thing for me for Buffalo in this game was they was able to run the football. That's probably their best running game. At least from what I've seen, Singletary had got some big runs. James Cook had some big runs.
Yep.
It wasn't just Josh Allen doing all the running. So I think this was one of the most balanced offensive games I've seen from the Bills this season. And then they need to keep that up because we just talked about some of the other squads that they're going to have to go up against. Titans, Chiefs. They're not playing around.
No, I mean this was the game that the Bills needed. They needed to bounce back, obviously after losing 2 in a row, and they got that performance. And it was mistake-free football, which is another thing that you really wanted to see out of them because obviously we know that the past few games, Josh Allen had those turnover troubles. He was 18-27, 197 touchdown. Obviously, nothing special. It's not the 300-yard, 4-touchdown game that you could see from him. But I mean, you don't have to do that because, like you said, Singletary 18 for 86 in a touchdown. James Cook had 11 for 86. They were doing what they had to do on the ground, and that really does just take a whole lot of pressure off of Josh Allen. And when you can do that and you don't force your quarterback, no matter who it is, to kind of play, hero ball because it's like, well, damn, it's me or nothing's going to happen because, I got to throw it or I got to run it because the running back behind me can't actually do anything. So it just really helped them out. This was a game that they needed. Obviously, a little weird situation with all the snow that this technically is a home game for them, but they were in Detroit.
Short, yeah.
But I did see, during the broadcast that they kind of tried to make it feel like a home game. Obviously, there were a lot of Bills fans there if you did watch the game, and they brought their DJ with them, so he would play like the same sounds, on offense and defense as they would normally hear, and everything of that nature. But a good bounce back win for the Bills, and like you said, for the Browns, they're going to be good when Deshaun's back, but I feel like as a Browns fan, you got to be so annoyed too. Because there really are so many games that I feel like they could have won this year. And if they just win a couple more, instead of being 3-7, maybe they're 5-6 or whatever, or 5-4, I should say, whatever the record would end up being. I don't know.
Yeah, closer to yeah.
Like if they're right there at the bottom, and then all of a sudden, Deshaun comes back and he can play the way that we saw him playing in with Houston. You would be right there in the playoff mix. And, you obviously just didn't get the performance out of Brissett in a lot of these games for that to happen. But next year is kind of another year, and you have to look forward to it if you're the Browns, and especially because listen, the NFL is a little weird this season, I would say, but if you're a Browns fan, why aren't you looking at the division being like, yeah, we could have totally won this? Like, if you had Deshaun this whole year, I think they're winning this division because they've played very well. I mean, obviously the Ravens are 7-3 as well, but I don't know the way that they've been in certain games. If you replace Watson or you replace Brissett with Watson, I think you're winning a lot of games. And like you said, with Cooper, he's playing very good. Njoku's having a pretty good season, and obviously you have the best running back duo in the NFL by a mile. And you pair that amazing running game with Watson. That's a lot of RPOs. That's a lot of play action where the linebackers have to come down to try and defend it, and you can hit Njoku over the middle, or you can hit Peoples Jones down the sideline, maybe whatever it is. So for the first time in a while, damn, I sound like I'm watching Frozen right now. For the first time in forever, might as well go with it. It looks like the Browns have a pretty solid future because your quarterback's going to be next year. You have a wide receiver 1 with Cooper. You have a solid, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and then Njoku's not bad. Chubb will be there. It looks good. It looks good. But while you're happy with that, I would think, being a Browns fan, you're a little annoyed that this is a lost season because I think you're 5-6 or whatever, and you're right there.
Yeah, their record would be much different. I agree. Not all the way sold on Stefanski just yet. He's obviously going to get another year to see whether or not he's the head coach of the head coach of their future. I know he won coach of the year a couple of years ago, but just he's open for criticism, just like any other player that we talk about on here. So want to see what he does once they do get Watson back next year, but. Yeah, this is a good win for Buffalo. I feel like they needed this one. I think you could definitely a game like last week. It could go two directions if you don't have the right guys, you don't have the right team with the right mindset. It can kind of spiral out of control, or you guys can come together from that and grow as one. And I think that's exactly what we saw in this game against the Browns. Got the Commanders and the Texans. Not much to say about the Texans, man. Texans there. We see the direction they're on. But the Commanders, it's a 6-game win streak. And listen, bro, I have to tell you, man. I know this is your guy, but he's just not that dude. He's not that dude.
It's over.
Everywhere he's been, it's chopped. He's been in the league for 8 years, 3 teams, and every single team took the backup quarterback. Every single team. Well, Colts they let him. They traded him and then brought in Matt Ryan, but they just find somebody else. So he's the common denominator. I don't care. I know, yeah, he throws the ball 50 yards. Great. I would hope so. You're in the NFL. Cool. You could run around and throw the foot and make unorthodox throws. So what? It's intangibles. People, we underrate intangibles in this game. It's still a team game. You're still dealing with guys in the locker room. Guys still have to respect you, like you, respect your work ethic. They watch you. You're the quarterback. So everything, all the eyes are on you. So if you're not that guy, people are going to figure it out rather quickly. And Taylor Heineke might not be that guy, but he's a guy that they want to ride. They ride for.
Love him.
They ride for him. Exactly. Every single time he keeps getting pushed back and coming back in to save him. Push back, coming back in to save him. This guy help take them to the playoffs. They had a 6-10
competitive game against the Bucs.
They were 6-10. I get it. It was one of those weird years where a dirt team got in, but. Or not dirt, but just a team with a bad record went in. The defense wasn't dirt. Defense was good.
Defense
was good. But Heineke, we know what Heineke is like. He's mini Fitzpatrick. He's flash in the pan. He'll give you a couple games here and there. Like I said, right now they're on a 6-game winning streak. He could do this. He could get you to the playoff game. He could get you to a playoff. Maybe have a good playoff game and win one. This is what Heineke is, and these guys, they ride for him. Chase Young's supposed to be back soon. So and back healthy.
Only a 2-game winning streak. They lost to Minnesota, but they're 5 out of their last 6. You're
Oh,
right.
5 of the last 6. I'm about it.
Five
Okay,
out.
right. The Minnesota one. Yeah, 5 of the last 6. Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
hell, talk about a great run though.
No, yeah. They're going crazy. They're going crazy. No one expected this. And how about this division?
Best winning percentage in the NFL.
How about this division? Man, 9-1, 7-3, 7-3, 6-5. So
707 winning percentage of the division.
When we thought this would be the laughing stock, and it was just going to be, we just thought it'd be a 2-team race. I'll put it that way in the division. It's still close even for the Commanders. They win a game here, Giants lose a game. They usurp the Giants in that division. So it's really that close, man. They're playing great football right now. All 3 phases. Heineke is making the right passes. Curtis Samuel had a really nice touchdown in this game. So they're just keeping the wins going. Ron Rivera, hell of a coach. He knows how to win. They understand their identity, and the Carson Wentz experiment is over.
Bye. Yeah, it is. It is. Like you said, I mean, they just listen, there's just so certain people. There are certain people that you just love playing with and you love playing for. I mean, there's certain coaches out there, you interview former NFL players when they're on, and it's, oh, you played for this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Who'd you really like? Oh, I loved everybody, but I loved playing with this guy, blah, blah, whatever. Gridiron, what's going on, brother?
What's going on,
Happy
man?
to have you back as
yes,
always.
Sir. Happy holidays to you, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you stopping by.
But yeah, they just like playing with Heineke. It's that scrappy, like you said, they've knocked him down. The organization has knocked him down a couple times. Obviously, he's not the starter. Okay, you bring him in because of injury. Now he is, and you have a competitive game against the Bucs in the playoffs. They go trade for Wentz when it was like, hey, okay, we had Heineke, but Wentz probably going to be better. And guess what? Heineke looks like he's the guy again. And listen, are they going to go out and try and get a franchise quarterback again? Probably.
Yeah, they need to. They will.
But I'll tell you something right now. The minute that franchise quarterback struggles, if Heineke's still there, there's going to be the Heineke chance immediately again, because he's done what he has to do on that team. And like we said, 5 out of the last 6 games they've won. They just activated I was about to say Chase Young, I should say, off of the injury reserve. They opened his 21-day window to come back to the team. So, I heard that if he has a good week of practice, there would be a possibility he plays this week. Obviously, he's their, big pass rusher on a line that already has, a pretty solid pass rush, I would say. They're a game out of the playoffs right now. They are the 8th seed currently. Obviously, the top 7 get in. They're 6-5, and the Seahawks are at 6-4. I want to say, right, because they had their bye week this week. Yeah, so they're 6-4. Yep. I mean, listen, you sneak into the playoffs again. Yeah, Heineke's gonna get opportunities, man. Like he is. I'll tell you what. Maybe not a franchise quarterback. We know that. He will literally have a job in the NFL as long as he wants one. I mean, we see. Listen, you talk about Tom Brady's 45, whatever, blah blah blah. Backup quarterbacks be playing that long as well.
Yes.
I mean, how old's Brian Hoyer? That man got to be up there in his 30s. He's been a backup forever. So you make a lot of money for yourself. Do you think Davis Mills is going to be the starter next year in Houston? No, they're done with the Davis Mills experience. I saw something that they were thinking about benching him this upcoming week. I don't even remember who their backup quarterback is, but
it doesn't matter. They're gonna get Stroud, Gridiron. They're gonna get Stroud. They're gonna get one of those top quarterbacks. So yeah, that experiment is over. And then for Heineke, it's
Kyle Allen, by the way, is their backup.
Okay. If he doesn't get a job, if he doesn't keep his job with Washington, he's going to get a job somewhere as a bridge quarterback, a guy that could win you a couple games, team where they feel like They have the run game, they have defense, they have some solid weapons. They just need a guy to, just not make mistakes, and they just don't have a high enough pick or enough assets to go make a move and get a quarterback this second. He could be that. He could be that. I mean, that's really what he's doing right now with Washington. So
You know what I look at him as, CJ, which I think a lot of people is what he'll be, especially when he gets older. He's that backup quarterback you sign when you draft a young person, a young quarterback, to mentor them. That's exactly what he's
yeah,
going to be for the rest of his career.
yeah, it's
Obviously,
good.
like you said, he'll get opportunities. Maybe kind of like maybe turn into like Teddy Bridgewater, where a couple of those years it was like, okay, we need a bridge quarterback this year because we can't go out there with nobody. So, you go and get Heineke and then you keep him on the team and it's like, okay, we just drafted your replacement, but hey, you want to stay here and mentor him, you'll have a contract for the next 5 years. Sign me up, millions of dollars.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think him and Cooper Rush.
Yep.
I think teams are gonna try to inquire about both of those quarterbacks in the offseason. I think a couple teams might. Jets, yeah, definitely see the Jets, making moves for one of those guys.
Yeah, I can see it.
Speaking of Carson Wentz and the teams that he was previously on, we got the Eagles and the Colts. Close game. I thought the Colts were gonna get this one, man. They were riding high after that Raider dub last week, and then Jeff Saturday, all the talk about Saturday and everything that happened. They had this game. Run game was playing really well. The defense was playing excellent. It was just definitely a great game by the Colts, but they don't have Jalen Hurts, and that's really the difference. A team like that being able to run the football and pass the football late in the game, he stepped up, had a big time touchdown, had a big time fourth down run on that drive, which led to the touchdown run to seal it and get the lead. And it just speaks to the type of leader that he is. Adversity. You're going to have these type of games. This is good for them. This is good. It's good they're playing like it's good they're having a dub like this. It's good they lost last week because it's much better for you to have these scenarios in the regular season. You can understand how to get out of them in game as opposed to riding high throughout all into the season and going to the playoffs, and then once you see that little glimpse of adversity, you fold or you slip up. So
like a deer in headlights. You don't know what to do.
Exactly. You don't know how to respond. You don't know what to go back to get you out of that situation because you never felt it before. So this is good. These close dubs are good because you got the dub. So, but you can still learn a lot. So, good win for Philadelphia. And like I said, like we talked about, like we're saying with the Bears, and I think you got to put the Colts in that same category as too. Good losses because they're coming from the Unwrapped Sports. Appreciate you, man. But the Colts and Bears, good losses, and good losses in terms of when we talked about the Bears, they answered the question, do they have their quarterback, right? That was the big question. So now the Colts, they answering the question, do they have they found their next head coach? I think the answer is yes. I mean, just looking at how the team has been playing since Jeff Saturday has gotten the job, the energy, it just feels like the offense and the team has more life. The defense is playing much better, and they have a bunch of really good guys on that side of the football. So these are good losses for the Colts. They're still really in the mix, kinda, but I just think right now they need to focus on who's going to be their guys going forward. But they definitely have that right head coach. And then for Philadelphia, big win in order for them to keep their division lead alive because it's getting close.
Yeah, I mean, I stole the words out of my mouth. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if you were going to go on the side of, close game, can't believe they barely won, or what I was thinking. And that, listen, close game, they should have probably blown out the Colts because the Colts are 4-6-1 and the Eagles are 9-1, whatever. You need games like this, man. You need games where, you're kind of not playing your best. The odds are kind of stacked against you a little bit because, listen, I think they were down 10 in the fourth quarter or something like that, I assume. And, they come back, they get the win. Hurts, and that's what the thing is too. Like, you wanted to see how Hurts would perform in situations like this. Like, you got to figure out Like I think we figure out that he's a guy now. Like I think you can say
Oh,
that Jalen Hurts is a guy, but like this is another game too where like you can add a notch to the belt almost, where it's like we knew he was a guy, but like okay now he can come through in the clutch. We know that. You know what I mean? It's like another little notch in the belt of like we know what he's doing. I will give credit to Gannon on this one. He's got a lot of grief, but Eagles D kept them in the game up until the end. Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing too. I think the Eagles are going to get are going to get better because they're going to get Jordan Davis back, and you know
yeah.
the run.
In addition to getting Sue and Linville Joseph,
Yeah,
I mean, you just it's just crazy. Howie
rich
Roseman,
get
man,
richer
the rich is getting richer. Exactly.
because that's the thing. Like their run defense has struggled. Like we saw it against the Commanders in the game that they lost. They listen, the Commanders were going on, 15 play, 30-minute drives, it felt like, because they would just run the ball 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, and they're getting first down after first down. Well, the Colts early on in the game too were doing that. Jonathan Taylor looked very good in this game. And then I think the offensive coordinator for the Colts, I can't even remember his name because he's so new too. He kind of went away from the run because it's like, dude, look, I'm the coordinator. Like I can call whatever I want, I want now. And like, you get into those situations where like maybe he doesn't have the experience of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna start calling pass plays here. Probably should have just stuck with the run. Because honestly, I think if you stick with the run with Jonathan Taylor, you probably end up winning this game. But the Eagles got the stops that they needed. Jalen Hurts marches them down the field, and then the defense once again gets a stop at the end of the game to make sure that they would have had them at like a 4th and 31, and they threw like an underneath pass and ran out of bounds. So,
Defense had a big stop because I believe it was 13-10, and they could have punched it in and got a touchdown. But the
yes.
defense made a big stop, and it made it 20-10 with like 4 minutes left. And I mean, mathematically, I mean, we've seen crazier stuff, but that probably would have been a W for the Colts because they could have ran the football and ran the clock out once they got the ball back if Philadelphia were to score with being down 10.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the play-by-play right now. You're right. 3rd and 5 at the Philadelphia 5. They ended up getting Hassan Reddick ended up getting a sack on Matt Ryan for a 14-yard loss. 14-yard loss, maybe 37-yard field goal. Obviously, they make it, but then the Eagles go down. And that's the thing too. Like this wasn't an easy drive for them either. You see in the NFL now, like the Bills when the Vikings, I guess the Vikings or the Chiefs against the Chargers on games like that where it's like, okay, we need to get in the field goal range to score a touchdown. It's like 7 plays, 95 yards, took a minute and 30 seconds. This drive for the Eagles was 14 plays. Like they were out there trying. They certainly needed one. It was 14 plays and only 36 yards because they got a 39-yard pass interference call. So listen,
Boston Scott, right?
They were struggling to move the ball, but they did it, and that's the thing. Because now in the playoffs, it's not, oh my gosh, we're down 5 points in the final quarter of the game. Like, what are we going to do now? We've never been in this situation. Like, coach, what am I supposed to do? It's okay. It's the playoffs. We've done this before, though. Go back, calm down. We've done it before. Why can't we do it again? So, good win for them.
Yes, big win. Speaking of big wins, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got the Patriots and the New York Jets. Connie, man, what was your thoughts on this one, bro? Start it off.
Well, listen. All I know is 14 games in a row, and I'm a little concerned. Vic was here, yesterday for Gen Z with me and Josh when we were talking about this game. I haven't seen Vic in those comments yet. Just wanted to make sure him and Pops are all right after a loss like that one. You started thinking some crazy things after a loss like that. But listen, am I happy to win the game? Yeah. Am I happy the Patriots are in the playoffs? Yeah. When I predicted a 7-10 season for the Patriots, CJ, you heard me on the show. Every time I predicted 7-10, I said I would follow it up and say, I hope I'm wrong though. And I'm happy to be wrong about predicting the Patriots record wrong. Because right now they're 6-4. I would hope they only win one more game this season. I would surely hope. You got to play the Bills twice, the Dolphins once.
Record's looking crazy. I mean, our schedule's looking kind of crazy, man.
I know. Bills twice, Dolphins once. Got the Vikings Thanksgiving, but 8-15 vampire Kirk Cousins. Just Patriots wear a little bit of garlic on the field, they'll be all right. Listen, the offense is just awful. It is just absolutely terrible to watch. There is no point in a Patriot game where you're ever like, oh, I think we're going to have a big play here. The only time you think that is when a running back hits the hole and he's gone. That's the only time, because there's no time Mac ever releases the ball downfield where I'm like, oh, this is going to end up being a 75-yard touchdown. Like, listen, when I see Mahomes and Allen and Herbert throw the ball downfield, I'm like, yo, that's probably going to be a 45-yard completion, because that's just what they do. Patriots do that. I'm like, all right, Mac either threw it away, it's an incompletion, it's going to be tipped for an interception, or we're actually going to catch one. But that doesn't happen often, so it's not usually going through my mind. So, listen, the defense played unbelievable, as they normally do. The Jets defense played unbelievable as well, which is what they do. And then 20 seconds left in the game. CJ, I am so upset. And I don't even think you can blame me for this. I wasn't even in the room for the punt return.
Oh, nah, bro.
Your boy hadn't eaten yet. My mom had just made some pigs in the blanket. I said 20 seconds left. There's a punt return. Okay, I'll just go grab a couple dogs real quick. I come back. They're in the end zone celebrating. I said, I wonder what happened. Maybe, they blocked the punt. They have good field position. Maybe they went for it on fourth down for some weird reason. They're celebrating the stop. And now I looked. They're kicking an extra point. I said, damn. I'll watch the replay. Hey, very, very happy. Didn't see it live, but hey, still very happy. So it's a good win. It's a good win. And CJ, are we going to get into the whole Zach Wilson situation, or no? Because I want to, but if you want to talk about the game first, and then we can go into Zach Wilson, you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it all ties in.
All right, so it all ties in. You're right.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on that?
Here's my thing. I genuinely think any quarterback started a game last week, or technically whatever, last week, week 11. If you replaced Zach Wilson with any other quarterback, they win that game. In fact, I think if you replace Zach Wilson with any other quarterback in the first Patriots-Jet game, they win that game. There is legitimately not a quarterback that played worse than Zach Wilson did in those two games. CJ, they had 2 yards in the second half of the game. Listen, is the Patriot defense good, CJ? I think we both know that. Are they 2 yards in the second half good? Let's be real, brother. We love the team as much as anybody. They are not 2 yards in the second half good worth of a defense. This is not 85 Bears. This is not the Ravens. This ain't the Purple People Eaters. It's not the Steel Curtain. Like, they're not 2 yards. 0.88 inches per play is what the Jets averaged in the second half. He had 77 yards passing.
9 for 22.
And then you go after the game, and the reporter comes up to you, Mr. Zach Wilson. How did you feel? Did you feel that you let the defense down with the offensive performance today? No.
So a layup. Threw him a layup question. It was a layup question.
He said no. And he said no twice, actually. No. You don't think – here's my layup.
Such an easy layup question. Be like, yeah, it's on me, even though everybody knows it's on you. It's just, but if you say it publicly, then I'll be like, all right, at least he owned up. He owned up to it. People forget about it. But
here's my thing, CJ. If that's not a letdown, I need to see what is. What if they scored 0 points and they had 2 yards in the whole game? 1 yard in the first half, one yard in the second half. Like, is that a letdown? You scored 3 points. If you get into field goal range one more time, they probably win this game. Because I don't think the Patriots could have gotten down to field goal range ever again. I think I'm seriously.
No, we did. We just
Patriots.
missed. We just missed 2 field goals. Nick
Well,
Foles
yeah,
missed 2 field goals. This game
that
should have been over.
the wind. It was windy.
Man,
Listen, Nick Foles been good for us all year, so I'm gonna give him
yeah,
the
no,
benefit.
he has, but he
Give him the
definitely
benefit of the
almost,
doubt that there was something else, causing problems for him.
he definitely almost sold though. But no,
No,
yeah,
definitely
for
almost.
sure though. Go ahead.
But and then here's the thing, and CJ will. I think CJ will disagree with me on this because we talked about Trevor Lawrence and I said bust and it's only his second year, whatever.
Yeah,
You gotta bench him. I think
bench who?
Zach Wilson.
Oh, okay.
You gotta bench him, and here's the reason. If I don't care that he's a second-year quarterback, whatever, and honestly, I don't even care about the answer that he gave, which makes it worse because now you got people in the locker room, kind of upset. And here's the other thing: can we stop with the whole "I accidentally liked a tweet" thing? Because Sauce Gardner and somebody else on the defense accidentally liked a tweet blasting Zach Wilson, and then Sauce Gardner went on like a 4-tweet thread about like, "Oh, I accidentally like things all the time." Like, but so you and a teammate both accidentally like the same exact tweet. All right, I'll play along here. But
Look,
you haven't gone to the
kid
playoffs.
stuff. Little
You
kid
haven't gone to
stuff.
the playoffs in 10 years. You have a chance to make it this year. Your defense is Super Bowl caliber. I really do
10?
think that.
It's been 10 years. It's been 12.
Or so, well, hey, listen, a
Yeah,
decade, over a decade.
yeah,
I'll tell you
over
that.
there. It's been a while.
But you need, if you have the opportunity to go to the playoffs, which they do, put Joe Flacco in. I wouldn't even put my Joe CJ.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco has more passing touchdowns this year than Zach Wilson. He has more passing touchdowns.
I have to go Flacco, man.
And listen, here's the other thing too. We joke around about, Rodgers maybe not being a leader and this and that. Zach Wilson's not a leader. And I'll tell you this right now. And I saw that and I saw the people getting upset at Booger McFarland about how, he called Zach Wilson privileged and everything like that. And listen, there have been quarterbacks like Steve Young who have, and other people, Trevor Lawrence, I believe as well, have come from some money, have played very well in college, who obviously never got, they never really had to go through adversity, and still, like Steve Young, Hall of Fame career, did what he had to do, whatever. Zach Wilson grew up rich, went to BYU. There was no competition. Also in BYU, people forget this. CJ, how many times is the quarterback not a captain of the team? How often does that happen?
More times than not. Most of it's a majority.
His teammates wouldn't name him captain at BYU.
Mm.
So he was never a captain at BYU. So he goes there. He's also unchallenged for the spot. He goes to the Jets, automatically handed the job, and they have no veteran quarterback backing him up. Not even to give him competition for the job, but to just be like, hey, listen, you idiot. This is how you deal with people in the locker room.
They brought in Flacco last year, right?
They brought him, but they brought him in at the trading deadline. It was like the 8th week of the season.
Right, that's right.
So he never, training camp, everything, he never had somebody behind him that was like, hey, this is how you got to deal with things, blah, 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 this. He gets injured, comes back, and is handed his job back again. So he has so at no point has he had to take responsibility and take the slings and arrows of something. He's wasn't named the captain at BYU. He's not taking the slings and arrows here. He might not just be a leader, and by the way he's playing, he doesn't look like a very good quarterback either.
Right.
I mean, and listen, shout out my guy. I'm gonna call him my guy now, Darren Orlovsky. I watched a little bit of his stuff on Twitter. He said in the locker room, people already kind of have a feeling about the quarterback because they think you get special treatment. So you have to kind of go out of your way to take the slings and arrows for the team, even if you think it is not your fault, because that is your job. That is how you connect with the rest of the locker room when they're getting yelled at, when they're doing all the drills, and you're the pretty little quarterback sitting in the corner with the red jersey on. He said that's what you have to do, and he has done none of that from the start of his career till now. Listen, I think you got to. I think you start somebody else, and then to try, maybe teach him a lesson a little bit, take responsibility. If he earns the job back, sure, give it back to him, see how he plays. I would be looking for a quarterback this offseason, though. I think I'm good.
Wow, what a game. What a game. Man, this game was such a roller coaster of emotions. Just watching this Patriot offense just be so lethargic, so lazy. Gridiron, the just should not be allowed to draft quarterbacks free agency from here on out. Yeah, it's haven't,
Look at
haven't
Derek
had
Carr.
haven't had the best luck. What are they 0 for 3 now? In the last 13 years since finding a franchise quarterback in the first round. So tough, very tough. Patriots offense, man, it's painful. It's painful to watch for sure. Are there guys open at times? Sure, yeah. Just the play calling and just certain situations, 4th and 3, you're doing a toss through in the shotgun. Crazy. Toss, shotgun toss run on the number 2 defense in the NFL. Sure, that makes sense. CJ Mosley knew all of our plays. No, but not even hyperbolic. Like literally knew all of our plays. Sitting in the gap, waiting for Ramondre and Damon Harris to get to the gap. He's already there. He's like, "What's up? Pull up. I'm going to tackle you now because I know all of your plays because your play caller sucks." So it's. I mean, I love the defense and the special teams outside of Foles missing the two kicks have been stellar all year for us, but it's this kryptonite, man. It's just and I can't. I had nobody but to blame but Belichick. Belichick's doing a great job with the defense, doing a good job with the special teams, but you give this guy the reins of the offense in a passing league, very very scary, and I'm happy we're 6-4. I'm happy we're 2 games over 500. I saw 7-10. I could honestly still see 7-10 because I just don't know what type of offense we're going to get. Literally, I don't know. The offense gets worse every single week. There's not one game in this season. Mac Jones led offense this season where I've been like, okay, yeah, this I can look back to and be like, this is a good game. All the good games that they had offensively, which barely, yeah. That might have been the only.
That's like throwing the life preserver out though.
Right, yeah, that was that was like an okay game. That wasn't even great. He still turned the ball over twice in that game, and he just had better passing. What I will say, he didn't turn the ball over. That's literally the best thing he did on Sunday was not turn the ball over because one turnover and it's clipped. It's clipped. We lose that game. So I don't know what we're gonna get from this offense in these next 7 games. I really don't know. That's the only thing that scares me. That's the only thing that scares me about this team is this guy calling the plays for this offense, and the defense has to play perfect. Defense is coming out there after 3 and out every single time, just getting stops, making plays. You get scared because those guys are playing so much. They're going to get tired. They're bound to give up a drive every once in a while. No defense is perfect. The defense is going to give up a drive or 2 here and there in a game. It's just bound to happen. Things happen, penalties, guys miss tackles. So this offense. I mean, if you're Patricia and Patricia, you're a defensive guy. You should know that more than anybody. It's just the dude is just not it. He's just not it, and it's just unfortunate because I just think we might look back at this season and look at how great the defense was, how great some of those players on that side of football are playing. Judon right there in terms of defensive player of the year. He's my. I got him number 1. Him and Parsons 1A, 1B.
On pace to break the sack record.
On pace to break the sack record. The pass rush has been stellar. There's things I've had concerns with over the last couple of years, but he's been the main constant coming in from the Ravens. 12.5 this year. He's been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal. Dedrick Wise also complimentary piece next to Judon and on that front line. So Judon, Godshaw. And Barmore is out, but I got some other guys coming in and making plays. I want to handle Max so much, but with the receivers on his team, it's hard to judge him fairly. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to really assess him when, again, the guy in his headset just is never called plays in the NFL before. So it's just times I'm like, come on, bro, you got to make that read, you got to make that play, and it's the entire offense. It's the entire offense, but it starts at the top, and it starts at the coordinator and the quarterback, and the offensive line hasn't been great either. I would definitely say that. We lost Isaiah Wynn. Isaiah Wynn's been in and out of the lineup. Now I know who's been out of the lineup. Kajus was in there last week. He was getting manhandled on that right side.
Andrews hurt his thigh in this one.
Yeah, Andrews got hurt after just coming back. Looked like he was going to be with us, come back and start strong the second half of the season. He got hurt. We don't know what the extent of that injury is. So this offensive line really hasn't been together. Also, so it's another reason why this offense hasn't been great. But just something has to give. Something has to give, and I'm just looking for one. I'm just looking for one good game from this offense. That's it. Just one. Just one good game on offense for the fan base to be confident in. I just haven't seen that yet. So very scary. And then for the Jets, yeah, I would not be. They should go with Flacco. I don't know why you would think I would disagree with you.
I know.
Second year, but it's like it's okay. It's second year, but it's like, what are we seeing in this second year? You got to factor that in too. If it's second year and he's playing well and the rest of the team is not locked in, okay, that's different. This is the opposite. This is the rest of the team is playing great and he's just playing dirt. Like, I mean, not like it's just not even playable type of play. Like that's how
go, CJ. You see this?
They lucked out. I mean, we lucked out because of who y'all drafted at quarterback. That was blocking in the back. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be blocked. It was very close. It was very close.
A little nervous there on that.
He kind of hit the shoulder pad. He kind of hit the back of the shoulder pad. But the ref was running. The ref was running, so his back, he didn't see it.
Yeah, the vision might have been a little bouncy.
Yeah, he didn't see that flag, and they could have been. We've seen refs do it. We've seen refs throw flags and on big plays and call touchdowns, call kickoff returns and touchdowns back all the time. So I was very surprised that they didn't throw that flag. It definitely did look like blocking in the back for sure. But nonetheless, Marcus Jones, rookie, big play. This is something that he did at University of Houston. He was a spark plug. We lost Gunnar Olszewski to the Steelers, and he's come in and it's been big time for us. I think his net average is around 15 yards. So when he gets that football, he gets a crease. He's been working wonders for us in the special teams as a rookie. So I'm happy for him. Jack Jones is playing well. The secondary is playing great now. You got Jonathan Jones, Jalen Mills, Duggar, Jabril Peppers. I mean, we got a plethora of guys. We're much faster. We're much faster defense than what we were a year ago. Much faster. Mac Wilson, O'Shea, Bentley. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of this defense, man. I mean, we're playing together. That secondary that was one of the main things I had concerns with going into the season, and they've proved me wrong. Forget that pretend ring holder. I'll take Mike White. Yeah, you guys need somebody. I'll take Flacco. I think Flacco will be perfect for this team. He's played on a team where all he has to do is be a game manager in order to win games, a la Super Bowl. So I'd put Flacco at that position, man. I think it just makes a lot of sense. They're 6-4. They need every win possible. They're in one of the most competitive divisions in football. So every win counts. Every win counts. You don't know if you're going to have a great defense like this next year. You just don't. You could assume it. You could assume like, yeah, all those guys will be back. No, it doesn't work that way. Guys want to get paid. Guys get hurt.
Rams thought that they were going to be great.
There you go. Rams
they went out and signed Bobby Wagner to add to an already stacked defense. You're like, oh my gosh, this is an all-star team.
Yeah. They brought in Allen Robinson. It's supposed to complement Cup. How's that working out? So you just can't assume that the NFL is the worst place to make assumptions. Like the worst place. because we make all these assumptions at the start of the season and we are always wrong. Always, every single year. We always say this is the team. This is their year. And then they go 4-13. So if I'm the Jets, I'm going with Flacco. It's an obvious choice to me. They need to stay alive in this division. They're already 0-2 to us. So that's out. That's clipped. They can't come back and respond from that. It's GG's. They got the win over Buffalo. So they can hang their hat on that. So every win counts. You can't waste a defense like this. Number 2 defense in the NFL. You need some type of consistency at quarterback. They gotta have no face, slight face than Zach still, but any of the quarterbacks I do like in college, and they play per quarter. I don't know about that. I don't understand the second part too much.
He said play a QB per
quarter. Play a QB per quarter.
Yeah, Zach Wilson gets then you go to Flacco in the second.
Just stick with Flacco. Look, Flacco. Yeah, Flacco got the dub against Cleveland when they were down. Remember, they were down like $120, and they was able to come back and win that game. And I think that was the first game of the season. So, first couple games.
Yeah, I think
Flacco knows how to win. He knows how to win. He's won a Super Bowl. He's played where he's been a game manager. He's made some big plays. It's not like they're deprived of offensive talent on the outside. I think Garrett Wilson is really good. You saw him get a little bit upset that Zach Wilson missed him a couple times. Zach Wilson is just.
Well, a lot of people think he doesn't know the playbook, because he posted a clip on Twitter where, like, they were running like a deep in route.
Yeah, well, he thought a guy on the outside was going to run an in, but he ended up running a post.
He ended up running the post, and he's like, I don't know if this guy knows the playbook. So
yeah,
not what you want from your franchise quarterback, right?
And then people in the comments were like, "What was supposed to be the read? The read was supposed to be a hot read to Wilson. He was wide open. He made it quick. He had inside leverage on the man. You got to give him the rock. He had space to go, get 20 yards.
And that deep post route too that he missed because he thought he was running the in route, wide open.
Yeah. So he just he's ghosts like his predecessor. That's what's happening. He just struggles against Bill. I mean, because he had a solid game against the Packers when they beat Green Bay. He played solid in that game. He was good. And then, but it's just against Belichick, man. Just flustered. Bill just has him flustered. And that's the only thing I'll say about Bill in this era is that all these guys are young. So he has opportunities to, make things difficult for them, show them things they've never seen before, pre-snap, post-snap. So we have that experience. We have that over these young quarterbacks as our offense continues to be dirt. And as we continue to go on these next couple of years, that's going to be the one thing we could say is Bill has a great record against young quarterbacks, with the exception of Tua Tagovailoa, who's undefeated against Bill Belichick.
4-0. Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, oof, what a win.
What a win. What a win for this team, too. New Orleans Saints coming in at their home. Stafford played a little bit in this game. Ended up getting hurt. Just after them picks, Mike could have used a couple. Could have used a couple of them picks this season, man. You wanted to laugh at New England for the Cole Strange situation. Probably could have used Cole Strange this season. That offensive line is horrendous, terrible. Stafford can't stay upright. Kupp's out for the season. It's not official, but it's pretty much.
Yeah, why would you bring him back at this point?
There's no point in bringing him back. He's out for the year. Ramsey and Donald they still got names, but collectively they just haven't been playing great.
Ramsey got cooked by Olave on that touchdown.
Generational speed. Generational type speed. I mean, what do you run? What do you run? A 4.32 at the combine, 4.33 at the combine. So he has lightning speed, and that just crazy to think about. They had Olave, Jameson Williams, Justin Fields, and got blasted by Alabama in that national championship game. That's crazy. Just think about the talent that those guys. It was Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, and Chris Olave, Justin Fields throwing them the ball, and they lost that. Look how bad they lost that game. This just talks about the talent. Just because it's the amount of talent that we have in this college football team. That team is stacked. That's a stacked team. Jameson Williams coming back soon. He's going to be making plays in the NFL. So,
I can't wait for that. I'm so excited to see him and St. Brown.
Same. Got him in one of our dynasties. So can't
I'm a
wait to
big
start.
fan. I think CJ. I mean, this is the next game, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I
Yep.
said that if St. Brown was the same, if St. Brown was 6'5", he'd be Julio Jones. Swear to God.
Yeah. He makes big plays. He makes big plays for his size, and I think they're going to complement each other well, Jameson and St. Brown. But back for the Rams, it's a tough year. It's a tough year, and it just I was just saying this on somewhere as well. I said it's tough to win in the NFL. It's difficult. It's difficult. It's not the place for assumptions. It's not the place for assumptions. We thought the Rams would be right back in it. Then they get blasted by the Bills opening night, and it's just been downhill ever since. They just haven't been able to recover for the reasons we just talked about prior with the offensive line and just some other factors that have taken the place for the Rams. So they're out of it. They're already 0-2 to San Francisco this season. So it's clipped. It's clipped for them. Get back to the drawing board. Make sure guys get healthy for next season. This is the cons of the method that they chose to win a Super Bowl.
Going
Right?
all out.
We're seeing we're seeing the cons of it in Denver with no Super Bowl. But now we're seeing it. We're seeing it with the Rams here now in year two. Yeah, it's F all them picks, draft all them picks. Now it's you're not now you can't build the rest of your team. Now guys get older. Who is replacing those guys? Guys get hurt. Who's replacing those guys? Those are guys that those second, third, fourth round picks are supposed to be guys you develop and grow. So when those guys come out, when those guys get hurt or those guys, exceed their contract and leave, they're ready to go. They know the system, they're ready to lock in and get in tune. It's not the case when you give up all those picks. When the Lions got all your picks. And I get it. You need to make that move to go get a quarterback, but this is what the price you pay. It's the price you pay. You want a Super Bowl in the process, of course, but you might have to take a bad season like you're taking it right now to hopefully try to get back the following year. And that's what we're seeing from the Rams. And for the Saints, Jameis Winston coming in, could potentially come in and start. I don't know. But Dalton getting this W, he might keep his job. Jameis coming out and said he felt like he should get the job back. He only lost it because he got hurt. That's not how it works, brother. You're not the franchise quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. You're a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, not the franchise guy. When you're the franchise guy and you get hurt, yes, then you get the job back. You're on a 2-year, really 1-year deal. I'm not sure what he thought this was. But yeah.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Florida.
I mean, listen,
I
Dalton was 21-25 for 260 and 3 touchdowns. Jameis, you think you're getting your job back after this game? Keep looking.
Not a chance.
Maybe go play Madden, play a little My Career type on there. Put instant starter on, and
and get in tune. Yeah, that's what he has to do, or just go beat out Andy in practice and get the job back, like anybody else does in the NFL when they want to get their starting spot. Go beat that guy out and stop complaining. But 2 names, Chris Olave was one that we talked about. Jawan Johnson, 83 for the Saints. Made some big catches, made some big plays in this game. With a guy like Michael Thomas just haven't been able to stay healthy. He looks like a guy. It's early, but he's put together some really nice games for the Saints. Jawan Johnson, number 83, could be a special player for them. So good win for the Saints. They're staying right in that mix, 4-7, 5-6. Those 4-7, 5-6 teams. Listen, their season is not over. Their season is not over. Not even close.
Not with the way that this season's going.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to look here. How much? Because listen, you said it might be a tough tough year. You take a year like this, and you move on. It might be a tough couple years for the Rams. I mean, I don't know how they don't have draft picks, right? Like you said. So you're supposed to go and replace people in the draft and do whatever. Here's the other problem. Who are the names on their team? It's Jalen Ramsey. They didn't draft him. They traded for him. It's Matt Stafford, big quarterback. They didn't draft him. They traded for him. They drafted Jared Goff. How'd that go? Now you give him credit with the Aaron Donald and the Cooper Cup, and then you also look at, you know, oh man, what's the wide receiver they drafted that just hasn't done literally anything? Ah,
What year?
I think they drafted one this year, didn't they? And he hasn't done anything.
You talking about Van Jefferson,
Well,
Tutu
Van
Atwell?
Tutu Atwell. There we go. That's the
Okay.
one I'm really
I
thinking
mean,
of.
he actually had a touchdown in this game. Crazy enough that you said
Of
that.
course
But
he
yeah.
did. Of course, in the moment I say that. But I mean, even Van Jefferson, definitely not, a crazy talent over there, put on the opposite side. Allen Robinson, you brought in another person you didn't draft. And he's not even having that great of a year anyway. You brought over Von Miller to help you win the Super Bowl. You didn't draft him. You traded for him. So, like, all these players that you've brought over as well, it's not like they have this, unbelievable, like, Steelers wide receiver type history of drafting, developing, and bam, you're going to be a star. I mean, you go back and look at the Steelers; they drafted and they drafted everybody. They had Le'Veon, they had Big Ben, they had AB. I mean, you name half the people on those teams that when they were good, they drafted everybody. The Rams, it's like, okay, you give them credit, obviously, that Aaron Donald might be the GOAT defensive tackle, and Cooper Cup is obviously very, very good, but who else you name it on the team that's really that special that they drafted other than that? So even maybe if you do have the draft picks, is it like, okay, do I really have faith in you? And I'm just trying to look right now. They have about, let me find the Rams. At the moment, they have negative $1 million in cap space next year. So you're going to have to do some cash over cap type of thing, transfer guaranteed money into signing bonuses, and you free up cap space and restructure, blah, blah, blah. You don't got $20 million to go out there and start spending and upgrading the offensive line. You don't have the $100 million that the Bears have that they can go out and basically remake their entire team. You might be in trouble for a couple of years.
No, they're gonna have to make trades to get some picks back. Somebody's
Exactly. I mean, Ramsey hasn't. I don't think Ramsey's looked special this year.
No,
I don't think Stafford hasn't been very good this year.
it's been it's been hurt with the elbow and right, but yeah.
So what? Aaron Donald's been good and Cooper Kupp. And guess what? One of them's hurt and the other one can only do so much because he's getting triple teamed on every play. He still plays good. So it might be a little rough for them. And then, like you said, for the Saints, it is a good win. Obviously, you keep winning and, you hope the teams in front of you just start losing. That's really all you can ask for. And, you keep playing hard and maybe you sneak your way into the playoffs. But it might be a little lull here with the Rams. Because obviously, like you said, you go 3-7, all of a sudden you're like, damn, okay, we got a top 5 pick. Who are we going to get? No, you don't. The Lions do. So it's tough. It is tough for you out here. You won the Super Bowl, and I'd say probably 99 out of 100 people would accept this. You win a Super Bowl, and, you go the next couple of years, maybe you're terrible, but you won a Super Bowl. Hey, we won the Super Bowl. So maybe you accept it. Other people, maybe not. But, hey, this is the price you pay for, screw them picks and giving everybody max contracts. I mean, Stafford got a huge one. Kupp has a huge contract. Donald has a huge contract. Ramsey has a huge contract. Like, you paid everybody. And now it's that part where it's like, okay, we might have to start replacing Jalen Ramsey. I don't want to say that too loud, but, you got to find somebody for him. And then it's, we got to get some help for Aaron Donald because, he's getting triple team. We had Von Miller last year, but we don't have him anymore. So we're going to need some help. Oh, we need somebody opposite of Cooper Kupp? You telling me we can't just only throw to him and be successful again? So it's a little tight there over there in LA.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. They have a lot of questions they need to answer in the second half of the season, and then going into next year as well. Lions and the Giants. This is a shocker a little bit. I know the Lions, they could score.
Yeah,
they could definitely score. But I didn't expect the Giants to come out and play so flat, especially on their home floor, or home field. Lions, they're 4-6 too. They're right there. They're able to score with the best of them, even with Goff at the quarterback position. Dan Campbell, that's his calling card. Calling card is offense. They run that football. Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift. Both of those guys were incredible on Sunday. And the Giants, they I know Odell. It's just looking likely that Odell is going to Dallas. It seems to be the connection. It seems to be making sense based off what we saw on social media on Sunday uh, and just what he just came out and said on Monday as regards to the Giants and the Cowboys being his two options. He'll weigh it out after the Thanksgiving game. They need him. They need him. They need
I
a
got
game.
bad news for him too. When they get smacked on Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
I think Odell takes that plane to Dallas immediately.
they need a they need definitely they could use a guy like Odell. They need to play with some fight. I don't think it's going to be. We'll get into our picks. I don't think it'll be a smackdown because that is a divisional game, and then we do know how the Cowboys just they don't play well on Thanksgiving.
No, they don't.
So those are factors I'm definitely taking into when we dive into these Thanksgiving picks in a few minutes. But yeah, Giants disappointing loss. Definitely a disappointing loss. They got the win against the Texans, but even that win last week, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't fantastic. It's the Texans. That's an automatic W. So,
and they barely won realistically.
Right? Yeah, they picked it up late in that game to get the dub. It wasn't really as convincing as we might have thought. So, we're starting to see the limitations of this team catch up to them. We're starting to see it has to be more than coaching to be a Super Bowl contending team. This is stuff we already know, but we're seeing it now with the Giants in terms of some of the limitations on the squad is definitely playing a role as to why some of these wins aren't as easy. And I believe that even in their wins, they had to come back and win those games. They were down, so they never had big time convincing wins with their record as it stands right now. So they need a game changer on the outside. Is that going to be Odell? We'll see. I mean, to ask a guy to be the savior of your wide receiver group with coming off a torn ACL is kind of much, which is why it just makes sense for him to go to Dallas, where he doesn't have to be that. He could just be a complementary piece to what they already have, similar to what he was with the Rams last year. So tough L for the Giants. Daniel Jones, I think he'll get franchise tagged. He'll get another shot, and they'll try to put some receivers around him next year, and they'll figure out what he is. But they're still in the mix. They could get a dub against Dallas, and they're back in it on Thanksgiving Day. But definitely a lethargic, underwhelming performance by the Giants.
Yeah, I think this is the formula. I think this is the formula to beat them, and it's pretty simple. You take out Saquon. Because if Saquon can't do anything, the Giants can't do anything. And listen, we talk a lot about Lamar and Justin Fields not throwing at anybody. And listen, and I have said that I don't really believe in Daniel Jones, but I will also give him the benefit of the doubt too. He is throwing to nobody. Listen, Lamar's throwing to nobody, but at least he has Mark Andrews. This might be the worst one in the league. This might be worse than the Bears because people think Darnell Mooney's pretty good. Claypool's all right. Who can you name a wide receiver that Daniel Jones is throwing to?
Man, when Wan'Dale Robinson's towards ACL, so no,
he's gone. I mean, it's
Bellinger's hurt.
Darius Slayton. I mean, Kenny Galladay.
He was going to be a guy, but just
Kenny Galladay caught a pass on Sunday and got a standing ovation from the crowd. A standing ovation.
Yeah, that's been a.
So he's not good. Robinson's out. Slayton is a 3-4 wide receiver at best. Sterling Shepard tore his ACL early in the year. He is throwing to legitimately nobody on that field. So what do? I would put goddamn 10 in the box and say, hey, safety, play 35 yards deep. Make sure they don't score a touchdown on us if they pass it. If Saquon had 15 rushes for 22 yards, listen, Daniel Jones had 347 yards, whatever, about 341 yards. Nothing. Those are absolutely nothing yards.
Yep, that means you won the game. Daniel Jones had a good game.
Exactly. You talk about empty calories. Hey, You're on a diet. You're trying to lose some weight. Get some empty calories. Drink a water. That's what that was. I mean, he's filling up on water to make sure that he doesn't, go and gorge himself at the buffet table. I should probably take some hints from that, but different problem for a different day. But yeah, no, Daniel Jones is throwing to absolutely nobody, and if you stop Saquon, you stop the Giants.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way they can really win games. I think the bigger surprise here is that the Lions did put up 31 points because the Giants' defense is pretty solid. And the Lions score a lot of points, but at home. Like at home, they score like 36 points a game. I think on the road, it drops down a lot. So I thought that's why this game, would probably lean towards the Giants. But Lions came out, played pretty well. I think Goff had over 300. Did he? No, I lied. 300 yards. Jesus. He had 165 yards. Zane Brown, 7 for 76. And then, like you said, I mean, Jamal Williams, 17 carries, 64 yards, had three touchdowns, making DeAndre Swift owners want to jump off of the Empire State Building. Swift got in the end zone as well. So, yeah, it's a solid win by the Lions, and they're that's another team who's going in the right direction. You see what happens when Williams comes back. You have a good wide receiver in St. Brown. You have a good pass rusher in Hutchinson. They have some corners over there. You start getting the correct pieces. I think Campbell, they obviously love playing for him. The kind of the social media darling because of Hard Knocks. So everybody's obviously rooting for him a little bit. But I think if you're a team going forward, you look at this Lions tape and you're like, oh, we just got to stack the box and stop Saquon. Because if we do that, what? CJ, here's always my thing, and you've heard me say this on this show 100 times. I can live with losing the game to the second option. If Daniel Jones goes out and throws for 350 and 4 touchdowns to nobody wide receivers, I don't care if we lose 55-0. I would say, you know what? I didn't let Saquon beat me. I could not go to see the defensive coordinator being like, okay, their number one option Saquon, and then he goes out and has 250 for a touchdown, 3 receiving touchdowns. Like, you can't let that happen. But if Daniel Jones can all of a sudden pull a game together where, maybe he rushes for 100 yards and 250 passing yards and is throwing it to these wide receivers, I'd be like, listen, you were just better that day. But don't let Saquon beat you, and I think you beat the Giants. I really do think it's that simple.
Yeah, that's really what it is. That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's how you stop them. Until they're able to get better guys out there. That's the only way they get a W. Divisional matchup between the Raiders and the Broncos. This was a much needed win for both of these squads. Really, both teams coming off just underwhelming seasons right now. Close game throughout, as expected. Divisional matchup. Also, 2 low scoring offenses for Denver. Went down to the wire. Melvin Gordon was actually making some solid plays, but still ended up getting cut. Tavius Murray.
You see the post he made on Instagram?
No, I didn't see the whole thing.
Oh my god, he posted like a story on Instagram. It was the O.J. Simpson Bronco chase.
Oh man,
and
crazy.
He was like the fans are crazy. Like, had a good time though. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting. Hackett. I don't think Hackett's going to be there next year. I think they're going to get a new head coach.
Yeah, they have to.
It's okay. It's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to admit that you're wrong, as long as you get it right. That's it.
I'm saying I'm gonna steal that.
It's okay to be wrong, man. As long as you understand why you're wrong and you learn from it. And the Broncos, I think they're figuring out they picked the wrong head coach. And Russell Wilson is one of his worst years of his career. Does it get worse? Does it continue to go downhill from here? Remains to be seen, considering again who they have at the top of the food chain at head coach. But this was a good game. They did fight. The defense fought. They made some plays, and in overtime, what a route! What a route by Devontae Adams. That double move, faked the inside, worked outside. if you and if you're not watching the all 22, or if you just saw it on regular, you're like, how is Devontae Adams this wide open? It's the route running. It's the route running. He sold the post and worked back to the corner. Carr had enough time and just threw it over, and then that's all she wrote. Bye Denver, and that's why they got him. That's why they just finally. I mean, I think that's 9 touchdowns on the season.
I think it's 10. I think he has the most.
I think it's 10. It's 10. Okay, it's 10.
I believe so.
Yeah. So 10 touchdowns for Tay, and Max Crosby had a great game in this one. A couple sacks, just clutch sacks. And truthfully, I know they had Devontae Adams. I know Waller's been hurt, Renfro's been out, but they need to be a running football team. Josh Jacobs, number 1 in the NFL in broken tackles for running backs. He's been the constant. He's been playing well. They don't have a great pass protecting O-line, but he seems to always move forward and get big yards and make big plays. Miss you, Tay? I'm sure you do, brother. I'm sure you do.
That comment got me. That's a good comment.
You got any thoughts on this one? I mean, it's kind of same old Broncos.
Yeah. CJ, have you seen the stat of what their record would be if they scored 18 points in regulation every game?
Was it 8-3?
9-1.
9-1.
The Broncos would be 9-1 on the season if they scored 18 points in regulation every game of the season right now. Listen, we talked about it with the Patriots earlier, how you were talking about like, oh, you don't want to miss, you don't want to mess up a good year on the defense because you know what will happen next year. You talk about messing up a good year on the defense. I mean, the Broncos defense is playing out of their minds, even without Bradley Chubb. And we were kind of, why are they trading Bradley Chubb? They're a defensive team, whatever. 18 points in regulation every game, they would have won 9-1. They'd be one of the best teams. They would be tied with the Eagles as the best team in the league. It is unbelievable that a team with Russell Wilson, and I think Cortland Sutton's pretty solid, and like that a team like that can just not score at all. And here's the thing too, Raiders defense is not very good. Not very good. And they still only scored 16? I mean, you listen.
Yeah, Hackett. I mean, Hackett came out of nowhere too. Let's be honest. No one who was really saying like Nathaniel Hackett was an offensive genius, and he kind of just came out of nowhere. I knew he was cool. I know he was cool with Aaron Rodgers, and so Peyton Manning was cool with Adam Gase. We saw how that worked out. So I mean, just because
McDaniels has been cool with Tom Brady, how is he as a head coach?
Exactly. Doesn't mean anything. Are you a leader of men?
Not even a leader. Are you a good coach?
Right. That's what. That's what. Yeah.
Well, not even. Well, I just mean like the X's and O's part of it, because I will always say this, and maybe it's a shallow way of thinking, but how good of a coach do you possibly have to be to go out there and be like, hey, Tom, the best quarterback of all time, can you go run these plays and be pretty good? Oh, hey, Peyton, can you go run these plays and be pretty good? Oh, hey, Mahomes, can you go run these plays and be pretty good? Like, how great of a coach do you really have to be? Especially on the offense.
You got to be a great one, bro, because we see it's not easy. But we see it's not easy. We see you can't replace a guy like Andy Reid.
Exactly. And that's the thing, though. Like, they were all coordinators before this.
Right.
So it's like that's why the thing with Sean McCoy, when he was like, Eric Bieniemy doesn't actually do anything. That's Andy Reid. Stop it. Where it's like, do I take that with a grain of salt, or is he being dead ass right now? Because, I mean, Andy Reid is the offensive genius over there. Like, what is Eric Bieniemy doing?
Nothing. I mean, that's why, and I think that. Well, I won't say nothing, but he's doing a good job. But yes, of course, Andy Reid has said. Honestly, it's Patrick Mahomes' offense. Patrick Mahomes probably calls all the plays at this point. I mean, we're in year 5 for Patrick, so
he walks up to Andy and says, "Hey, what plays you got for me this week?" Okay, cool. Here's the list.
Patrick and Andy run the offense. They run the offense, and it's not to take anything away from the enemy, but it's just
exactly.
It's kind of obvious at this point.
Like with McDaniels, Yeah, obviously he went into the microphone. Hey Tom, let's run banana YX. Tom
Yeah,
probably
Tom.
Tom
Tom
walked up to
changed
the
it.
line. Exactly. Tom walked up to the line and said, "Wait, that linebacker is 0.6 inches to the right. This is a zone. We're going to change this to zebra cake 35." Like, like that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
So
we saw Tom say alert a lot, and that was changing the
alert,
play.
alert, baby,
Yes,
kill, kill.
he say that all the time, which means he was changing Josh McDaniels' original play.
Like, how
Straight
good
up.
you got to be when you got a guy at the quarterback position?
It's difficult. No, it is difficult. It is difficult. Don't get me wrong, because look at the Chargers. So that answers your question right there. How difficult is it? Well, Zebra Cake
Brandon
35. Yeah,
Staley certainly makes it look difficult.
right. Brandon Staley is a prime example of you got greatness, but you still sell.
I
So
dead ass feel bad for Herbert.
it's they'll get a new guy in there. So
Oh,
I don't feel that bad, but they'll get a new guy. They'll get a new guy. He's still
Herbert, if you're ever a little annoyed, call up Bill. I'll trade the whole franchise for you. You can take Steve Belichick.
Chargers are crazy. They're not that crazy, man. They're not that crazy, especially out here with them. They'll never do that. But yeah, it's just for Denver. Losing Javonte Williams was a big loss. I kind of think that's what they wanted to do this year. They wanted to run the football, be more of a balanced team. And then when you lose a guy like that, then you lose Garrett Bowles to a broken leg. The offensive line is depleted. It's just a difficult year. Well, are they going to give Nathaniel Hackett another chance? They might. But I could easily see them not doing that.
$250 million to a quarterback, and you went 3-7 so far. Good luck.
Yeah, well, yeah, we know Russell's not going anywhere, so Nathaniel Hackett is going to be
only one other person you can blame.
Yeah, he's going
to
be
the selling the teams that I made a mistake. Let me sell.
Yeah, no, he's got to go if that presents itself. But big win for the Raiders. I still don't see them doing too much because they've done what they did throughout the season already. It's too much damage. It's
the
too
whole
much damage.
Is too big to get out of.
Yeah, the damage. Yeah, exactly. The damage is already done for Vegas. So, Cowboys and the Vikings. Wow. This was a beatdown. This was a good old beatdown. This is why Tony Pollard is on our thumbnail for our viewers, guys. He was a star, definitely one of the stars of this week. Had a phenomenal game. I think Minnesota. I just think all the energy that they exerted in that game against Buffalo was kind of just zapped, and they came into this game and was just flat. It was 3-3. 40 unanswered is kind of wild. 40 unanswered is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Dak was probably his best game of his career. Just a clean game. Was very accurate. The pass to Pollard on the right side over the shoulder, that was a great pass. That was one of his best passes of his career. No doubt about it. And it's going to come down to him, man. Honestly, they should have beat the Packers too. They were up 28-14 in the fourth quarter. That should have been a W. Should have been a W. I loved every minute of it. Not gonna lie, I'm sure you did, bro.
Yeah, you gotta take some solace.
Yeah, you gotta take some type of positivity out of the week for you, brethren. No doubt. Yeah. Pollard is special, and we're gonna. And I know it's who's better, him or Zeke. I'm just not buying into that question. I like them both as a complementary committee and group. I like them as a group. Zeke brings the power, come in there in the red zone, get those touchdowns in the red zone. 3rd and 1.
Yardage.
Exactly. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Give it to Zeke. Zeke knows how to get those yards pretty easily. If you want to break out and get a big play, yards out the catch, maybe take one to the crib, Tony Pollard is your guy. So, everybody wants to pin these guys against each other. I'm just like, bro, how about we just appreciate what they're both doing as a collective? It's just everybody. We love people love division. It's insane. They
That's why
thrive
me
off.
and CJ are like this.
Yeah, it's just people just thrive off always trying to divide people and who deserves what credit. It's let's just appreciate what they're doing. They're a great team. They and listen, I know we talk about Kirk in prime time, but in this game right here specifically, it wasn't just on Kirk. I mean, the entire offense was terrible.
That offensive line.
Our offensive line was bad. The offensive line was bad. I mean, as soon as Kirk dropped back, it was
Michael
somebody in his face. Micah Parsons, Armstrong, Lawrence, Fowler Jr. I mean, those guys were just all in Kirk Cousins' face throughout the entire game, and they're really just sending four. Kirk only good at 1 p.m. Yeah, I guess.
I hope that streak continues this week.
Yeah, I hope yes it does. Just one more week, Kirk. That's all we need from you, brother. Just one more week of mid. That's it. Just in a couple of days, champ.
You can put the chains back on right after.
Yeah, yo, you could after week 13. I swear you could lock in.
PO chains every week.
Yeah, bring the chains out. You could just Thursday right here at 8:20. I'm gonna just need you to sell just one more time for the kids.
Christian Darisaul's already out, so Matt Judon. Listen.
Just play. Just be worse than Mac. That's all we're asking.
Difficult.
It's difficult, very difficult. But you've been one to answer the call. But Cowboys just dominant. It's just a dominant win. It's really nothing else to say. People are calling it a perfect game. Okay, it was definitely a dominant game. I don't think you can't really say anything bad about what they did. It's just I just thought this game would be much closer. But
so did CBS.
Yeah, so exactly. So the CBS. One thing I'll say a couple things I saw as well from the game that I liked was Michael Gallup looks healthy. Healthier than he's ever been. He made some really good catches, some over the middle slant catches. Where I was like, okay, yeah, those some big time catches where he's not scared. He sees that back or he sees that safety right there. But I'm gonna still put my hands up and get this football. And if you hit me, so what? You know what I mean? That's what I saw from Gallup in a couple plays, which was good. Which shows me that he's starting to get together after tearing that ACL and getting right. CeeDee Lamb looked good. They have a if Dak is just on. They got some guys on the outside. I mean, we kind of thought, what happened?
Is it their year?
It's tough for me to say because I was just about to get into that. They have some guys, and bringing in Odell puts them. And then you also forget about James Washington too coming back as a deep threat from Pittsburgh, made some big plays for them. He's coming back after hurting his foot. So him, Odell, Noah Brown, CD, Pollard, Schultz, who had a big block on that play from that Pollard had on that check down play that turned into a touchdown on the sideline on Patrick Peterson. What are we talking about? They will find a way to go one and done, and this is what I mean. Dak, it's gonna come down to Dak Prescott. In these playoff games, he always starts slow.
Yep.
Whenever they lose, even in the regular season, he always start. He can never start slow.
It's never the full game.
Yeah, exactly. He always starts slow, and then and it's just he'll just be flat, and then it'll be like 9 minutes left. Yeah, 9 minutes fourth. Yeah, 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth. Now you want to play like this guy.
It's the third quarter, and he has 135 passing yards and a touchdown, and in the fourth it's 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you're like, damn, Dak played really good this game.
And he really didn't. And that's the scary thing. And for Dak, all he has to do,
mid Prescott. Come on.
If Dak goes to the Super Bowl, I don't want to hear Connie call Dak mid. It'll be. I mean, you can't really call him mid. You got to also see how he plays, but it's gonna. All Dak has to do is just not. He doesn't have to play hero ball on this team.
Not with that team.
They don't. Yeah, exactly. Don't turn the ball over. Get the football to the guys in space. Maybe run a little bit, 3rd and 4, 2nd and 5. Get a 6-7 yard run. We don't want you running crazy. We know what happened a couple years ago. That's it, bro. We don't just game calm, manage the game, whatever. Call him a game manager. So what? So what? Just don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over and get those guys of football in space. With that defense, they could go places. They could go places. It's gonna come down to Dak, man. This is it's more pressure than it's ever been for him now, because this is one of the best teams that they've had since that we've seen since the 2016 year when they went 13-3.
Yeah.
So this is a big year for Dak Prescott, and this is a big win for the Cowboys this week. We'll see how they respond against the Giants on Thanksgiving.
Listen, I got the hiccups right now, so I'm going to try and get through this. Yeah, this was. I mean, listen.
You got the hiccups during this game? Dang.
No, I got the hiccups right now, but I can't. It's coming through. I'm trying, but listen, CBS out here going away from your game. That's basically the equivalent of like, hey, big brother, I'm down 20 at halftime playing my friend. Can you play for me?
Right, pass his controller.
Right.
Exactly.
Pass the sticks, brother.
Yes.
It ain't going well. Yeah, it's a lot what you said. I mean, this might be Dak's best game. I think 22 or 25, 276, 2 touchdowns. I think that's like an 85% completion percentage. That just shouldn't happen in the NFL. Like you said, Tony Pollard, 6 catches, 109 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. And not only was it a good throw by Dak, like you said, it was a good catch. I mean, that's an over-the-shoulder, like, true wide receiver catch that Tony Pollard made. So, yeah, listen, it's – I think people get into the whole who's the starter thing. And, like, even I have done it before. I've come on and I said I think Tony Pollard should be the starter. But then I watched the game, and I don't remember who was doing the commentary for – actually, no, it was Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. And Tony Romo said it very well that I should have looked at it that way from the beginning. Who cares if somebody starts and doesn't start? It's about the touches. Yeah, Zeke starts, whatever, but what if Zeke is there for the first play of the game but gets 4 touches and Pollard gets 20?
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Exactly. Doesn't matter. Right.
So, yeah, Zeke is the starter, and everybody wants Pollard to be the starter, but it's all about, who's getting what and what's going on. And, I think it's the perfect little transition for Zeke. He was the guy. He was a 3-down back. He took a lot of, hits early on in his career. Now you kind of parlay it into the second half of your career. It's
situational.
Okay. It's situational. It's okay. Tony Pollard just had a nice 40-yard run. I'll come in for the next couple of plays, let him catch his breath. Maybe I can break off a big one like I used to. It's 3rd and 1. Okay, we need this. I got you. Because listen, they said it on the goal line when the Cowboys were trying to go in to score. Tony Pollard got the ball, got stuffed at the line. Tony Romo said, "Listen, I like Pollard too, but this is where Zeke needs to be in the game." They literally put Zeke in the next play, and they scored the touchdown. So that is what Zeke has to be now. And I think if they really do just play that complimentary football and nobody gets their egos hurt of like, oh, I want more touches, I want to do this, you'll be fine. Because that change of pace between them is very good. And I think you should also bring Zeke in on passing situations, the pass block. He's one of probably the best pass blocking running back in the NFL. And then, he can still catch the ball too. So even if you're in a passing situation, the defense is going to say, oh, look, it's a passing situation. Zeke is always in there to block. You throw a little screen pass to him, he can probably get free. You throw a little, just dump off route to him, he can probably make a play. So I think if the Cowboys do that with Zeke and Pollard, they'll be great. Like you said, Gallup getting it going would be huge for them. If Odell will probably win at this point. Odell signs there, pairing him up with CD. That's a very nice 1-2 combo. Obviously, you got to see how Odell plays coming off the injury, but I mean, he's gone through so many injuries that it's kind of like, why wouldn't he bounce back from this one as well? I mean, obviously, you hope he does. Don't want injuries on anybody, so you hope Odell comes back and is healthy. You got a top 5 defense with, maybe the best pass rusher in the league with Parsons. He's been unbelievable this year. The rest of the D-line's good. Everybody, including me, made fun of Diggs last season as the corner. Justin Jefferson had 3 catches for 33 yards. He didn't do anything. No Jay Jettis in this one. No Gritty in this one. No one-handed catch taken away from the cornerback in this one. So Diggs did his job. The line did their job. And listen, for the Vikings, you know what their point differential is?
Like throughout the season?
Yeah.
No, what is it, man?
-2.
Wow.
They have a negative point differential, and they are 8-2. It is the worst point differential in NFL history for an 8-2 team. So listen, obviously getting smacked 40-3 will bring your point differential down, but still, they're obviously winning a lot of close games, which is good. But also, you kind of see how that goes the next year as well, where the teams that win one possession games always fall off the cliff the next season because you don't win all those games every single year.
Like the
So
Raiders.
exactly. So it's definitely something to look at. And hey, like you said, Kirk didn't play good, but I mean, it was almost impossible to play good in this game because he snapped the ball. And, oh, hi, Michael, you want the ball too? Like it was basically a situation like that, and obviously going up against the Pats, they're not going to have Darisaw. The Vikings have already ruled him out for the game, so you'll see how the offensive line looks. And this is another team though that you kind of look at them and almost like the Eagles, how I said it earlier, they might get better at the end of the year because they'll have some of those offensive linemen come back. They'll have some people on defense that are hurt right now come back, and things of that nature come off IR or whatever. So it's a terrible loss for him, obviously, but maybe not that whole sky is falling thing that probably a lot of people want it to be if you're not a Vikings fan.
Yeah, tough L. We've seen Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl winning teams have terrible L's throughout the
Patriots
regular
at
season.
Chiefs.
Patriots, Chiefs. Yeah,
They're not good anymore.
exactly. You
That's
can
it.
look at. I mean, even you can look at Bucks Saints 38-3
Was
on
that
the
the year they
Sunday.
got shut out too? Or was that last year? No, that was last year.
That was last year. Yeah, then 9-zip. Yeah, that was last year. But yeah, so we've seen it all the time, man. We saw the Rams as well get blasted by the Cardinals in the regular season
No.
last year. Still won the Super Bowl. So those things
Bengals
happen.
lost, Bengals lost to the Jets. I mean, I know they didn't win, but Bengals lost to the Jets last
Yes,
year to Mike
yes,
White.
exactly. So it's just how you respond, and we're going to see how they respond on Thanksgiving Day rather
Hopefully,
quickly.
very poorly.
Yes, for sure. For our sake, we got the Bengals and the Steelers and an AFC North showdown. It was probably one of the best games that we saw from the Steelers offense.
Absolutely.
For
Best game out
sure.
of Kenny Pickett, I'll say that.
Yes, definitely. That best game from Kenny Pickett. Pickens another nice catch. He's always making big time catches. I'd like to see him now kind of put some good games together as opposed to just great catches, one catch in a game. Let's put some good catches in one game for Pickens. And of course, that obviously comes down to play calling and Pickett under center. So it's still very early in his career. But this is more about the Bengals. They needed this win to stay in contention for the division title with Baltimore. Chase is out, missed his third game with the hip injury. Hopefully, he can come back as soon as possible.
Might
They
be
need
back
him,
this week.
so that'll be perfect. That's perfect for
Potentially. I saw if he has a good week of practice, I think.
yeah. And they got Mixon was out. Mixon was out in this game. He got hurt. He got hurt with
Yeah, early
concussion.
on. Yep.
And Samaje Perine came in, scored 3 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns.
Oh, 3. No, I was.
Yeah.
Was good.
I missed that one. Yeah, yeah. 3 touchdowns in this game for them to put up 37 without Chase. It just speaks to how great this team could be. Burrow seems to be hitting on all cylinders. But he's pretty much the last 6, 7, 8 games. He's been pretty stellar. He's been pretty stellar, man. Outside of the first couple of weeks where he was just coming back and they were figuring some things out. Since then, he's been locked in, and here they are 6-4, and they're right in contention. They're going to be right there when it's all said and done. They have the confidence and beating any of the teams that's ahead of them in the seedings. They beat the Titans. They beat the Chiefs. They've beaten the Ravens as well. So they're right there. They're in the mix. They're in the mix. I know we're kind of sleeping on them, or we're not talking about them as much as people talked about them last year. But they're right there, and they're a team that you can't sleep on. You can't sleep on, and they have the numbers of those top teams that's ahead of them. So a great win by Cincinnati, and for for the Steelers, it's just these games, you're just answering questions in these games.
Yeah.
You're answering future questions. You're answering questions about your future for the rest of the season for the Steelers, and that's all that is right now for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. Listen, Pickett still obviously not very good with the accuracy, 25 of 42. Definitely not what you want in the accuracy part of it, but 265 the touchdown. Listen, the offensive line isn't very good.
No,
So,
it's not.
Pickett obviously doesn't have much time to throw the ball either. He's probably running for his life a lot. Najee looked good in this game. You would love to get him going to take some pressure off of Pickett. He had 20 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. So that's obviously good for him. Like you said, Pickens was good. Listen, we talk a lot about Kyle Pitts, like a lot about how good he could be. Pat Fryermuth is very good.
Yes, he is. Very good tight end. Yes.
Like 8 for 79 in this. Like he legitimately might be the best young tight end. We want to say Kyle Pitts, but what has he done? I know he had 1,000 yards. I know. But Pat Fryermuth is a guy. Like I think the Steelers do have a very good tight end. Over there, Gridiron over here says it was a tale of two halves for Pickett.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And then, you kind of move on over. Oh, listen, by the way, TJ Watt, I don't know what the hell they fed the Watt brothers when they were kids, but JJ was a dog. TJ Watt, dog. I mean, did you see the interception he had in this game?
Insane.
Jumping up, snagging it out of the air. Second time he's done that to Joe Burrow this season. He did in the first game of the year as well.
They just know how. They just have great timing. And when I say they, I'm talking about JJ as well.
Yep.
This is what he did in his prime when he was with the Texans. They just
JJ
know
was the king of batting down balls,
and then turn it into INTs. It's just
unbelievable.
They just have great timing. They have a great knack with the football, and they watch a lot of film too. They watch a lot of film. Like this speaks to a lot of film that they watch. They know when the ball's about to come out, and they know when to jump. It's just
smart football.
That's why they're both of those guys going to be in the Hall.
Absolutely. But yeah, Joe Burrow, 24-39, 355, the 4 touchdowns. Did throw the 2 picks. And then, like you said, I mean, you got somebody like T. Higgins who can kind of just step in for Chase. Obviously not the same talent level. I think we would all agree that Jamar is a special wide receiver, and T. Higgins is very good. But, I mean, 9 for 148. He had 13 targets, so they obviously weren't covering him very well. P. Ryan had the 4 catches out of the backfield. 3 of those were touchdowns. It's like you said. It's what the Bengals needed. Steelers are answering questions. Listen, Mike Tomlin's going to have his first losing season as a head coach. Put the feather in the cap. It took a long time for that to happen for you.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I mean,
this was bound to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of. I think somebody said it last show or a show before that. This is kind of the Bill and Cam Newton year. You don't really know what's going to happen. They have a bad team. Whatever. You move on. The next couple of years, it looks like the Patriots are going to the playoffs. So,
well, only difference is, they got some young guys.
Yeah, they have some weapons over there.
It took us another draft to get those young guys.
Yeah.
Mac, Armore, So, yeah, that's the only difference. But yes, that it's definitely a year for them where they're gonna take a step back, and I mean. Might be a couple steps because, again, Deshaun coming back and Lamar, and Burrow in your division.
That's tough to say the least.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough for sure. Speaking of tough, and they've been tough for the last 6 years. Kansas City Chiefs, 30-27. This last couple of minutes of this game was really exciting.
Yep.
Kelsey. I saw the debate going around on Twitter. It goes around every year, honestly, between him and Gronk. And I'm biased. I'm gonna give the slight edge to Gronk, but it's not even. And when I pick Gronk, it's literally no slight at all to Kelsey because he's just different. He's just different. His ability, his yards after catch ability. His route running so smooth with his routes, much better route runner than what Gronk was, and he's just a smoother runner with the football.
Yeah.
Gronk just looked kind of
Gronk was Frankenstein.
Yeah. It just looks because he was so tall and it just looks so forced. He was struggling to get down the field. With Kelsey, he looks like a tight a wide receiver, running back. out there when he runs the football, when he gets the football in space. And they just have a great connection. They just have a great connection, man. Mahomes and Kelsey, and it's just tough to stop them. It's tough to stop them, and this is the questions that I had. I said this was gonna be good for Patrick because now you're not just solely throwing the football to Tyreek Hill. It's more than that. It's more than that, and we are gonna look back too and be like, how did this team only win one Super Bowl? They had Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's just three of the most gifted football players in the last decade.
Yeah.
So people will ask when we get older, when we're in our 50s and 60s, how did this Chief team with those three guys only win one Super Bowl? But
NFL is very difficult.
Every NFL, and that would be the answer. That would be the answer to that question. Chargers. This was their first time in a long time of them having Keenan Allen and Mike Williams back together. And what happens? Mike Williams gets hurt again. Unfortunately, at the start of the game, they're just cursed, man. They're just cursed. I told you,
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
I tried to tell you, bro. I said at the start of the season, I was like, before the season started, I said they're gonna struggle. They always it's either one or the other. They start off well and then they end the season bad, or vice versa. This is what we've seen from the Chargers when they were in San Diego, and it's continuing now in Los Angeles. They can never put a great complete season together. Yeah, Tom Brady. Yes, of course. Definitely played a big factor in that for sure. Gridiron, great point. But the Chargers are cursed. They're 5-5. They're like the most. They're the 5-5 team where you just have no confidence in, just because the head coach. You don't know what he's a wild card. One moment, when you're supposed to go for it, he doesn't go for it.
And then when you're on your own 30-yard line with the playoffs on the line last year in the last game of the season, you go for it and don't get it.
Go for it. Yeah. So he's one moment he's aggressive, then the next moment he's conservative. And it's just when he's one or the other, it's been poor since he's gotten the job. So I don't see him being the head coach for the Chargers next year. I just don't. They've had a lot of injuries. Bosa,
14
JC
players
Jackson.
on IR. Second most in the league behind the Titans.
Insane. But the Titans find a way to still win. And I think coaching obviously has a lot to do with that. For sure, and I feel for Herbert, man. They're still in it. They're still in it. It's not over. 5-5. They're still here. They're still here. But just from what we've seen over these last few games, and then who's out for them, and who continues to be out, and they just haven't been able to just have consistency with their roster. It's just tough for me to see them make the playoffs right now.
Yeah, and they could get better, later on in the season. Obviously, we're in week 11, so you don't got much time. But if they can sneak into the playoffs, that's when Bosa comes back, and you would hope Mike Williams is back. And listen, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were finally back on the field. Gerald Everett missed this game because he was hurt. They're tight end. So, hopefully he comes back. Eckler's been very, very good this season. We obviously know what Herbert is. CJ, it's another what did I say earlier in the show? How do you lose to the number one option? I think all 3 touchdowns for Kelsey, one-on-one coverage. They were missing Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman, Kadarius Toney got hurt during the game. It's literally Travis Kelsey and Mahomes versus the world. And you let Travis Kelsey score 3 touchdowns? How?
Mind you, Staley is supposed to be a defensive-minded head coach.
That is coaching malpractice. Now, listen, Derwin James usually does do a very good job against Travis Kelsey. He usually does a very good job. The last touchdown that won them the game, he got cooked on it. The touchdown before that, Asante Samuel Jr. one-on-one coverage. Why? I would put and then CJ, here's the other thing that I've never understood, and maybe I'm a salty Gronk fan because I want him to always be the GOAT because that's my guy. Well, do you ever see Kelsey get chipped at the line of scrimmage?
Sometimes they do, but again, his route running too, like he knows he's going to get chipped, so he knows what to do after that.
I mean,
So
but I mean, I used to see defensive ends out here before they went to go pass rush Brady, smack Gronk in the side. I don't see
but
that.
also what Andy Reid and what they Andy Reid in that offense, they don't have.
They don't have him in tight. He's kind of in
Right.
the slot.
He's not. Yeah, exactly. He's kind of off. He's at the Y. He's not. He doesn't have his hand on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to chip him with his hand on because he has to come up and then you could chip him. If he's already here in a 2-point stance ready to rock, it's not much you can't chip him off of that. You just have to hold and grab and just pray you don't get the defensive holding 5 yards and just take him off the rhythm. But we know now they're throwing that flag. So
yeah. And then the other thing.
Stop.
And the other thing, which I don't want, but I question, because it ruined Gronk's career. How does nobody try and tackle him low? Why is everybody shoulder tackling Kelsey? He's a tight end. He is bigger than you, brother. Like, I don't know how people don't try and go low and like I said, not out here talking about why are you not trying to injure Travis Kelsey. Not what I'm saying. But I don't understand why it's like, oh yeah, let me go and try and tackle him at the shoulder pads. Let me tell you, let me know how that works out for you, pal. But yeah, I don't know. The Chargers need a new coach. They need a new training staff. They need to go into the training room and the stadium with some whatever the hell those oils that Kyrie had in Boston, the sage. They need to go sage and try and sage. They got to try and figure it out because 14 players on IR after being hurt last year as well. I mean, it's brutal.
It's bad. It's bad. They definitely they're just cursed. It's really nothing else to say about the Chargers and the Chiefs. When we all thought this division and conference going to have some type of parity, seems to be much of the same. Speaking of the division, we got a divisional matchup Monday Night Football. This was in Mexico City between the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals, the Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals. I haven't seen in season Hard Knocks yet. No, I haven't seen it. Seen it. Something I got to check out. I don't even know if I want to see it because this team is so bland. They got some good personalities over there, but the team is so bland, and this was just a beatdown. This was just a beatdown by the 49ers. It's a complete team. If Garoppolo doesn't sell, it's like we said. It's what we say about Kirk Cousins, Dak, Garoppolo, a couple other guys. I'm probably blanking on right now.
Zach Wilson right now.
Zach Wilson. Yeah, exactly. And everything else around them is excellent. Just don't mess it up. And Garoppolo probably understands that more than anybody because he's been on these type teams pretty much his whole career. He's been on not mess it up type teams, which are great teams. Yeah. And Ayuk had 2 touchdowns in this one. Debo got it going. Kittle, Elijah Mitchell. They don't need McCaffrey. I know probably fantasy owners want McCaffrey to get more touches, but I like what Kyle Shanahan is doing. I like what Kyle Shanahan is doing with McCaffrey, and he's doing exactly what I said that Carolina should have did, which is use him more as a wide receiver so he could stay fresh and healthy. If you guys are watching the show, I probably said that like 30, 50 times every time we talked about the Carolina Panthers and Christian McCaffrey, and Kyle Shanahan is doing that now. And I think that's great to see. You just don't know what they're going to do. You could have Mitchell out the backfield, Debo, or CMC. You could have any 3 of those guys out the backfield. You could have a split back set with one of those 2, with Debo and CMC.
And Trent Williams leading the way.
Trent, it's just so. And then off the play action, if you commit like that, Kittle it's just no excuses for Jimmy Garoppolo. No excuses for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want to see a 11 for 25. 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interception game in the playoffs. I don't want to see that if they got all these guys and all these guys are healthy. I do not want to see that. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. And I think 49er fans, I think they're happy, but I know in the back of their mind, they're thinking about last year. They're thinking about the Super Bowl. They're thinking about those. They know they have a good team and they like their quarterback. But do they love their quarterback? And right now, they like him right now, and this is what Jimmy does. He's like, oh, look, Jimmy, he's a guy. Let's cut him some slack. Let's cut. You see the media. Let's cut Jimmy some slack. Whoa, let's listen. This guy, look at his record. Look at his win percentage, which matters, which is good. But when it's time, he's just not all the way there. So we'll see. We'll see. They're playing great. This could be a different season. This could be the season where he does get it right. It's very possible. So their offense is amazing. Their offense is amazing. Their defense is amazing. It's just going to come down to 10. Coach. Yes, great coach. It's going to come down to number 10, man. That's it.
CJ, you said everything that I wanted to say, and I will just add one thing before we go and make our Week 12 picks and get out of here. I truly believe if you gave the 49ers a top 10 quarterback, not top 5, not the best, top 10, they would be the Chiefs of the NFC. I think they would be the Chiefs of the NFC. I really do.
I'm with you, bro. And remember who they played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, both of these teams have been excellent over the last few years, and it's just one has Patrick Mahomes, the other has Jimmy Garoppolo. That's just literally the difference.
Tough out here. You pulling up Week 12? You want me to?
Yes, I'm pulling up Week 12. I went 8-6. You went 9-5.
Oh,
so I mean, I just can't somehow just not able to get these dubs, man. I thought I knew the game of football, but not not as much as I thought. Not as much as I thought. But here we go. Not good. It's tough out here. It's tough. All right. Thanksgiving Day slate. Bills, Lions. I got Buffalo.
Absolutely. Not even a question.
Giants and the Cowboys, divisional matchup. I think it's going to be a close game, but I got the Cowboys.
I disagree on the close part, but I'll go Cowboys.
All right. Patriots, Vikings. Thursday night football. The best Thursday night football game in a long time. Hopefully. I'm going with my guys. I have my concerns. I have my concerns. I'm very scared, but I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, I gotta stick with them. Listen, Kirk.
Whoa! What is that? Yeah.
Listen.
You know what? What type of voter confidence?
Because you can never tell. Listen, CJ. Even there's no confidence in this offense.
I was just messing around. Bro. I'm with you, man.
I mean, Kirk, give me one more Kirk Cousins performance in prime time. I just need one more out of you.
So we need Kirk.
This is the first of 4 straight games in prime time for the Pats. They play this game, Thursday Night Football against the Bills next week. I think Monday Night Football against the Raiders.
The Raiders, yes.
And then Sunday Night Football against the Cardinals.
Yeah, that Cardinal game probably be flexed.
Has to.
No one wants to watch that.
Nobody.
Broncos and the Panthers. Wow, you're making me choose. I guess I'll go Denver.
Yeah, I'll go with the Broncos, I guess.
Yeah, it's not, just I guess pick. Buccaneers and the Browns. Bucks coming off a bye. I got Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you gotta go Bucks off the bye.
Ravens and the Jaguars. Lamar going back to Florida. I got the Ravens.
Yeah, you don't even got to discuss that one or the next one, honestly. Texans at Dolphins, moved on.
Yes, sir. We got Miami, Bears, and the Jets.
See,
Fields is not playing. If Fields is not there, I got the Jets, even despite whoever they have on the center.
I'll agree. I think we both go Bears with Fields playing, if not Jets.
100%. Divisional round rematch. between the Bengals and the Titans. Got Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'll go Cincinnati and hope that Jamar comes back.
Right. Falcons and the Commanders. Big game for both teams in terms of getting into the playoffs. That 7th spot.
I got the commies.
Yeah, I got the commies. Yeah, I got the Commanders as well. Chargers and the Cardinals. Not sure about Kyler Murray's status. Either way,
I got the Chargers.
This is one of those I guess games. I'm gonna go with the Chargers as well. Yeah, it's just both of those offenses and head coaches is just so bad.
Yeah,
Raiders and the Seahawks. I'm gonna go Vegas. I think Vegas.
I got Seahawks off the bye.
Okay. Rams and the Chiefs.
Stop it.
This was a good game. Like, what was that? What was that game with Golf and those guys? What was that?
Like 3 years ago?
4 years ago? That was a great game. Now, not so much. Kansas City.
Yeah, by probably about 20.
Facts. San Francisco and the Saints. I think the Saints defense they're solid, but just not enough against San Francisco. I got 49ers.
Yeah, I got to stick with you there.
Green Bay and Philadelphia. I see 10-1 for the Eagles.
I don't know how you don't.
And then last but not least, Monday Night Football, Steelers and the Colts. I'm gonna go with Jeff Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jeff Saturday and the Colts.
Yeah, I'll stick with Jeff Saturday too, just because I want all the old people to be pissed off that he has a head coaching job.
It's a disgrace to football.
I can't believe he accepted $1 million job. How dare he? Yeah, all right, buddy. Go back to playing Scrabble.
Right. Insane.
Listen, everybody. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Perry, you came in here, dropped all your predictions for the games. Gridiron, you're always in here. Been a loyal listener ever since you found us. We appreciate you. Christian was in here at the beginning. I know I saw Matt in here for a little bit as well. Vic, you were also in here. So appreciate everybody that tunes in as per usual. You guys know what it is by now. Anthony Conover _ on Twitter. You can find my link tree. That'll take you to everything I do. But importantly, have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thankful for everybody letting us do this. Thankful for finding a great co-host in my guy CJ over here. So hope everybody has a good holiday. CJ, I'll pass it over to you there, brother.
Yes, link.tree /CJames9. Find everything that I'm working on. Thankful just to be here. Thankful to do this show every Tuesday with my guy Connie. Chop it up, talk some football. Also grateful to do other shows that I'm on. I got Count the Bucket, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. Michael Lawson, Nick Andre. Make sure you guys check that out, man. We're doing some big things over there as well, covering all things NBA. Guy Perry, happy Thanksgiving, man. Appreciate you, guys. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And yeah, you guys have a great holiday. Make sure you collect some deals on Black Friday. Get right.
Don't go no people for it though.
Don't go stampeding. Don't go come out here stampeding and stumbling and bumbling over people to get some TVs for the low. Come on, guys. Let's have some character. Let's act like adults out here. I know we haven't been
those AirPods that bad.
Yeah, I know this is year 2 of people, remembering what outside looks like. So, just calm down. Just calm down and just make sure everybody gets what they want. They can get home and enjoy their gifts setting up for Christmas. So that's it.
All right, everybody. Like we said, happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back next week. And hey, go eat a lot of food, all right? You have a good one.
See you guys next week.